I had to throw up.
Ugh.
Oh. Jesus.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floormeister Studios. Floormeisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to you on this hump day. Also happens to be the first day of July. Hope June treated you well. Hope your week is going well. Thanks for being with us. How the heck are you, Miller and Moulton? MillerandMoulton.com. Miller_Moulton on X. Top of the morning to you, Mark. How are you?
Good morning, David. I am doing well. Got a lot accomplished yesterday. Didn't see as much soccer as I normally do, but I put my daughter to work. That makes me happy. Anytime I can, be a slave driver all day long and make her work hard, that's fun. So got a lot accomplished, had a good day, fun day, even though, we worked, spent the whole day with my daughter. So that was a good thing. Got a good night's sleep. Once I heard that Mexico was in a rain weather delay, I'm like, I don't think I need this tonight. I think I can miss this. And I made the conscious decision to go to bed very early last night after penalty kicks and, the night before till nearly midnight. I'm like, I'm not doing this back-to-back on Tuesday, Wednesday, or Monday, Tuesday, rather. We're not starting the week out this way.
Okay.
So I did not take in Mexico, Ecuador last night.
Well, that's all right. And yeah, there was a 1 hour delay. It was already a late start, so it didn't get underway till around 10 Eastern. So you got to make the commitment till at least midnight.
Right. That's like guaranteeing overtime in hockey before the game starts, David.
Right.
I mean, that's like our overtime rules, and we haven't even dropped the puck in overtime, if you know what I mean.
Well, and the other thing is you can have a half an hour of extra time, and then you could have penalty kicks. I mean, you can go for an extra 45 or so minutes.
Right.
I mean, so these things are a nice, tidy 2 hours, or they're going to be about 2.5 to 2:45. So, plan your popcorn accordingly.
And with no nap during the day, I was like, this isn't happening. But I'll tell you what, I did watch a little baseball last night because the Tigers and Yanks were on TBS, and all of a sudden they click over and show highlights from the Rays game because I don't get the Rays, and I have not made the purchase. I've not made the baseball package purchase as of yet. And damn, they're hitting again. The Marlins are hitting. I mean, right now, I'll give the edge to the Florida hockey teams over the Florida baseball teams, but do we really need, football and basketball teams in this state? Because apparently we do baseball and we do hockey.
Well, but the people really, 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 really care about the football.
I know.
That's why it would be nice if they could get their acts together and more than just one at a time also.
Yes.
That would be nice. Okay. The days when we had 2 or 3 of them good at the same time on Saturdays and Sundays. Don't make me all of a sudden start, whipping out a Streisand tune here, but
right. David, we're at the point where we, and look at 2 of the 3 in football were just fine. I mean, the Buccaneers disappointed at the back end, but they were at least interesting all year. The Jags did their part. And I mean, we had more good pro football teams in the state of Florida than we did out of the big 3 in college.
Yes, but I still feel the NFL was like 1-1-1. I feel like the Bucs were an overtime loss. If they had won the division at 8-9, it would have been an overtime win.
I totally agree, but they were interesting the whole year. They were more interesting than were the Florida Gators the whole year, because all we were looking for, I mean, if they were 1-1-1, weren't the big 3 in college 1-2?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And certainly the Canes out-delivered the Jags in the postseason, but 1-1-1 and 1-2, I think that's accurate. Are we going to get 2-1 in college this year? Can the Gators make the next step? And for that matter, if the Bucs don't make the next step, there are going to be some changes in Tampa.
Well, and can the Jags have back-to-back good seasons? We've been saying we're not expecting another 13-win regular season, but we are expecting the last 2 to 3 games of the year to be a team above 500 who's playing to make the playoffs. Absolutely. We are.
Absolutely.
So,
and then can the other 2 jump in? South Florida, can they repeat having a good year? And UCF, hey guys, there's this thing called a bowl game.
Yes.
You need to get to one. Okay.
Yes, you do.
That's all we're really asking in year 2 out of the prodigal son coming home. That's all. Get to a bowl game.
Speaking of football, the magic numbers are 59 and 70. 59 days to the start of the college football season, 8.5 weeks away. And 10 weeks tonight, Seahawks host the Patriots, the Super Bowl rematch, 70 nights away from the NFL season getting underway as well. Good show lined up for you. We'll talk Florida Panthers. Boy, they've been busy. Made another deal yesterday. Bye-bye, Bob. Armando Velez covers the Panthers. He'll join us. It's a hump day. Seth Everett will be with us. And Glenn Davis. Talk about the soccer that's already come and gone. And couple of big matches today and tonight. England at noon Eastern. The United States at 8 Eastern. Not that there's a lot of ratings on the line tonight. Especially since that England match, they win, they get Mexico in Mexico City.
That'll be awesome. It really will, David.
I thought I heard that the last time that England has played in Mexico City, it was the Hand of God game against Maradona.
I read that as well.
And it'll be the 5th straight match for Mexico in Mexico. Played 3 home games, won their group, went 3-0, had a home game last night, won.
Right, unlike Canada, who did not win their group, and that would have allowed them to stay in Canada.
Right.
So important win last night, obviously for Mexico, but important to win that group as well, because now they are going to have a clear home field advantage in the round of 16.
Not only is Mexico 4-0, by the way, they've yet to give up a goal.
And that's the Achilles heel of the U.S. men's national team right now. defensively, how good are they? They were good against Australia. They've not been particularly good on the back line in the other games. And I would imagine we're going to see a little rope-a-dope out of their opponents tonight, looking for counters and looking for opportunities to play defense and get one. So Glenn Davis to talk about that coming up. You mentioned we're going to talk the Panthers. And David, this is crazy to me. For you Miami sports fans, and I know we have more Tampa and Jacksonville because we're on in those markets and we're not on in Miami, but in our Southwest Florida market, there's a lot of Miami fans. The Heat trade for Giannis and the Panthers are having a better offseason.
And certainly a bigger one, certainly
Right.
a more newsworthy one. And yet you're right. The Heat went and got one of the 10 best players in the game.
So I just find that fascinating that in the city of Miami right now, or in South Florida, if you will, the Panthers doing a better job on the newsreel than the Heat in the offseason. That's astonishing to me.
Also interesting that they haven't completely just said, well, we had a bunch of injuries last year. We'll get everybody healthy, everybody rested up, and we'll go back at it. No, actually, there's, obviously a major trade to bring in a Kachuk brother. Okay, moving on from Bob after they realize that he's moving on from them. And it's a very interesting trade. Could be a disaster and could be a bargain. So very interesting trade. We'll get to that a little bit later on. But yeah, NBA, NHL free agency, they're underway. But the trades are what's really going to make the NBA and the NHL offseason. One big NBA trade yesterday and one big announcement that will lead to a free agent signing coming up in the coming days.
Half the year in the rearview mirror, July 1. That means, as David said, the magic numbers, they're dwindling down. 59 and 70. I've got my list of 70s in front of me, David. I'm ready for you. You do it off the top of your head. I have to spend an hour and a half doing research.
I was going to say, I haven't put any thought into this whatsoever.
You got a commercial break. Should be plenty of time for you. So we'll do some numbers. We'll talk. I'm fired up to talk about Glenn Davis about what he thinks, not just for today, should the U.S. get through, but then what's next, because it looks like it's Belgium. By the way, we mentioned it yesterday. France, can you just write them down in the semis now?
Whew. They look like the best team in the tournament, but certainly with the draw that they have, it would be shocking if they're not in the semifinals.
It really would. I mean, they've got to beat, Morocco and Canada. I would expect Morocco to win that, but they get the break of Paraguay winning, and then they will get Morocco more than likely. So the team that was favored going in has had the most favorable draw put in front of them. Funny how those things work out from time to time.
Yeah, but they did their part. They made sure they won their group. They did their part, and then the draw came to them.
Rays and Marlins both doing their parts last night, mashing against teams they're supposed to beat. Yankees lose again. Rays extend that lead in the AL East. The Marlins, by percentage points, out of the playoffs, but by games behind, if you will, they're tied for that last wild card spot with the Cardinals. Cardinals have played a couple less games, I believe. So that is interesting to say the least, because they are two teams that you don't expect to make big moves to help their clubs at the deadline. But what will the next month hold for both the Rays and the Marlins? We'll talk some Panthers. We'll talk to Seth. We'll talk some U.S. men's national team. 25 minutes from now, we do this little thing called the Starting Five to catch you up on what you may have missed overnight on Miller and Moulton.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. Capecops.com. Be brave, be best. Be Cape.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Floor Meisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floor Meisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in. 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
No!
This summer, there's only one place to experience the roar of the World Cup at the British Open Pub in Bonita Springs, your World Cup headquarters, where the team is bringing every match live, full sound on every TV across the patio, with daily food and drink specials from the opening match on June 11th through the final on July 19th. Catch the electric atmosphere for every England and USA match and all the matches in between at the British Open Pub, Bonita Springs, at the shops of Pelican Landing, where the World Cup comes alive.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Yeah, what Jay said. Click that thumbs up. That would be awesome. I'd appreciate it. Yeah, Clark, I wanted to, but when they said it was going to be an hour, I'm like, I can't do it. Good for you to be up this early. The Hand of God game was England and Argentina, and Maradona had a handball, and they didn't call it. He scored. It led them to a World Cup. And England lost again. In a nutshell. And there's your hand of God moment this morning. Thank you, Brian. Thank you all. Appreciate it. I'm going to try to get through a whole show without yelling at anybody today. I yelled at my daughter enough yesterday. She was a great helper for, as I told her, she was terrific for 68% of it. She was good for 24% of it. And then she was done for the last 8%. She had checked out.
Oh.
Then again, she was power washing the deck with me. It's not really your normal 12-year-old job. No, you know what? It's funny. I have to give her she's got to use the hose because she doesn't brush hard enough, and I yell about that. So she gets to do the easy job with the pressure washer, and I'm the one with the big brush getting brushing the dirt and the water to the doors, if you will. It's a lot of work, but it looked good. Very pleased with the outcome. And no matter what, unless you have one of those, fancy things that the companies have that kind of suck the water up and spit it out, there's no way to get it completely clean. It's impossible. That's what I've figured out with the regular good old pressure washers. There's dirt left behind. There's nothing you can do about it.
Yes, I got a haircut Sunday.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour, and thanks for being with us on this hump day, this 1st of July. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Our football magic numbers are 59 for college and 70 for the NFL. That's how many days until the respective seasons get underway. 59 and 70.
So 70s, David. I don't know if you took any time during the break, but I can go a little old school for you here and make you happy.
Okay, I got a couple of folks in the NFL from this century, but for the most part, I've got 2 or 3 prominent NFL players from back in the day.
The funny guy, the guy that a lot of us only know, me included, from his appearances on late night television, Carson and Letterman.
Yep.
Art Donovan wore 70 for the Colts. I don't know him as a football player at all. At all.
Hall of
Before
Famer.
my time.
He was a Hall of Famer. And fairly quickly after he was done playing, you got the 5-year waiting period. And I don't know if he had to wait another 5 years.
So you can go Rayfield Wright from the Cowboys.
Well, they've got 2 of them. Rayfield Wright was on their great 70s teams. But Zach Martin, who's probably going in the Hall of Fame.
Right. That's the new school. That is regarded. I have 3 different lists that I looked at. That's regarded on 2 of the 3 as the best number 70.
Which is interesting because Jim Marshall was 70. But, Mr. Purple People Eater is still not in the Hall of Fame, which is a shock to many.
So that was Ernie Stoutner from the Pittsburgh Steelers is a 70.
Who was Landry's longtime defensive line coach, wasn't he? With the Cowboys through the 70s and into the 80s. I think that was he was on the Cowboys sidelines, but you're right, his playing career was in Pittsburgh.
And then, someone just put it in the chat room. That's old school. You're going back to the 56 championship with Sam Huff.
Yep.
But yeah, you mentioned Jim Marshall. When I looked at the list and I saw the players, because I don't know Sam Huff. I have to just read. And his accomplishments are incredible. Jim Marshall, when you say that, that stuns me. He's not in the Hall of Fame. Like, even if, like a Veterans Committee hasn't put him in, that surprises me. I always think of him as a Hall of Famer, David.
I think a lot of people do. I remember doing a couple shows with Pat on NFL radio, and Pat just said, hey, throw out guys who are not in the Hall of Fame and see how shocked people are. And people were dumbfounded, especially since there are some defensive linemen, Mark, that played on famous defensive lines, lines that got named, if you will. The Purple People Eaters, the Fearsome Foursome, And if you're part of those lines and you were at the very least a very good player, I think a lot of us think, well, you're in the Hall of Fame because also your teams are winning all the damn time. But Alan Page, Carl Eller in the Hall of Fame from the Purple People Eaters, Jim Marshall, not.
Logan Mankins, Bucks and Patriots.
Yeah.
Just I'm not putting him at the top of the list, but I think he would be a top 10 number 70.
Yeah. Saints had an offensive lineman that they drafted in the first round. I know he was on their Super Bowl winning team. He was a very good player. I think the Chargers have an offensive lineman, number 70 in recent days, who was a good player for them. But yeah, a solid number, not a great number, because also it's tough to get other sports involved.
Exactly.
How many baseball players do you know that wore 70?
In fact, David, there were only 8 NBA players that have ever worn the number 70. And I would doubt people have heard of all but one of them, because Rodman wore it for a year with Dallas.
Yeah, played like 12 games.
But I'm just, so the other 7, you would, and some of these guys are going back to the Minneapolis Lakers, the Indianapolis Jets that I didn't even know were a team, the St. Louis Hawks. So, that's when this number was worn. So, yes, it's not a popular number. Even in hockey, there's not a lot of great number 70s who, we're 71. We had Malkin yesterday, and you have Larkin, and you've got a few other guys that are pretty good.
Right.
Sorelli for Tampa. But it's guys that we know. More guys are wearing big numbers now in hockey. But those are your number 70s. That's all. That's what I got for you today. Because it's the first of the month, David. So it's like a national everything day. It's international. Yes. It's International Joke Day.
Huh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that should fire you up. It's National Ginger Snap Day.
You a fan of ginger snaps?
Not really. International Chicken Wing Day, not to be confused with National Chicken Wing Day, because trust me, there's both.
I have to admit, I would love to know the difference. Don't know if I've ever had chicken wings from outside the country.
Well, today would be your day to try a Korean wing, maybe.
Gotcha.
And it's Canada Day. This is their big day. This is the day they celebrate. And
this is their 4th?
Yes. Yes. So there you go. Happy Canada Day, everybody.
No, fair enough.
That's what I got for you.
Okay.
As the Marlins and Rays continue to win.
It's amazing. Like you mentioned, the Marlins are 2 percentage points away from having the final wild card. I'll say this, the Braves are trying really hard to make the National League East fun.
Isn't it fun now? It's 2.5.
And 4.5. Let's not. The baseball team in South Florida just had the best month in the history of the franchise. They just played nearly 800 baseball for a month. They're 4.5 back. I mean, the pitcher who's on the trading block just went 6-0 in June.
By the way, he's not their best pitcher.
No.
So I mean, they have multiple all-stars on this team. Now, I don't know if they'll get it because baseball's quirky and it depends on basically what shortstop gets the popular vote. If the right three all go to the all-star game, one could get bumped, and it could be the Marlins. So this is a team with multiple all-stars, rightly so, on a team that's going to be filled with Dodgers. But depending on how the popular vote goes, and that's where, Mookie Betts getting in and he's starting to play better if he gets the starting shortstop job, that would be interesting. So anyhow, Marlins, you're right, 4.5 back. I shouldn't just be talking about the Phillies, who are 2.5 back of the Braves. By the way, you were right on one thing about the Braves. When we talked about pitching, you wondered, can Sale lead him? Well, he's not going to start the All-Star game, but he's an All-Star.
Yes, he is. And he's had a couple of tough luck losses here going up against the other team's number ones where he's been outpitched a little bit. But yeah.
David, if it wasn't for Mizorowski there with the gaudy ERA, Sale's second.
Oh, I know. And he's definitely an all-star in his late 30s. What a second half of his career he's had. Thank goodness he's healthy. If he had stayed healthy, would have been a Hall of Famer. Starting five is next.
The Floor Meisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floor Meisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe. And your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
We started our show 18 years ago and have been fired 3 times, but Miller and Moulton have never lived on the edge like we are now. We have our best morning ratings ever, are steadily adding affiliates, yet we only have a few sponsors. And if that doesn't change, we can't continue. But if you want to advertise on Miller and Moulton, reach out to one of us directly by texting sponsor to 21,000 or contact Mark on X at @MarkMiller or me at @TheDavidMoulton. You can save Miller and Moulton and make your business some serious money by texting 21,000 now.
This is Miller and Moulton.
So who yelled at Paula?
Not me. Nobody. She just said she's not, and she doesn't need to upset the host. You don't upset the host. I do. I upset you. How did I upset? What did I say to you, Paula? So all right. I don't even know. Whatever. I can't anymore, guys. I called you. When did I do this? I haven't said anything to you in 2 days. And if you want to hold a grudge longer than that, knock yourself out, Paula. Oh, I'm sorry, Paula, that I called you a know-it-all. I can't. I'm about to shut the chat off, guys. I really am. Oh yes, yeah. You did, and I saw that play in real time, and I don't think it's that big of a deal. I don't. You slow it down, and we've got a fist on the throat. It looks like she's trying to kill her. You watch it in real time, it's whatever.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Armando Velez, who covers the Florida Panthers, will join us 1 hour from now. Seth Everett will join us on this hump day because that's what he does. And Glenn Davis, big soccer day, England at noon Eastern, U.S. at 8 Eastern. Big soccer day and night. Glenn Davis, he's our soccer guy. He will join us coming up a little past the midway point of the show. Right now it is time for
The Starting Five. 5 big stories you need to know. Here is The Starting Five.
Well, we'll start with the World Cup. Not a great day by World Cup standards yesterday. Solid day. Norway, Ivory Coast was terrific. 1-1 late. And Holland scored again for Norway. Tell you what, he nonchalanted. He had a tap in, right in front of the goal with about 4 minutes to go, and he nonchalanted it, and it barely got by the goalie and in. It was almost a little too cute. But Norway, a winner, 2-1. First time they've ever won a knockout stage match. And did you see the team celebrate afterwards? The captain of the team got out a drum. All right. And he had the team sit near the end zone. Because I think they're in Dallas. So, near the one, and they had their fans in that section. And he timed it up where he would, bang the drum and the team would row and the fans would row. And then he got them in rhythm and he went pretty fast and it was cool. They are enjoying the out of this. I think they're getting one of the big boys next. So I think it's going to end, but who the hell cares?
David, the thing, since it is International Joke Day, there have been more playoff games played in AT&T Stadium here recently than in a long time.
Certainly more wins.
Last playoff game, at least, because someone's the home team in this game. So more home team wins than for the Cowboys because their last game was against the Packers there, right?
Their last win or playoff game?
No. Their last playoff game was against the Packers.
Right, where they
in
got
which they were
humiliated.
destroyed.
Right.
Right. Okay.
Norway 2-1 over Ivory Coast. Mbappe with 2 goals, 1 in each half. France 3-0 over Sweden. He's tied with Messi for most goals overall in the tournament with 6.
Is he the best player in the world right now?
I think he is. He's certainly the smoothest. I mean, he's like that fighter who never gets hit. Okay, and at the end of the fight, maybe he took you out, maybe knocked you out, but it's probably a unanimous decision, and he's not even sweating, and he's unmarked. And the other guy is a mess.
So he's Mayweather, is what you're saying.
He basically is. Yeah.
I'm not saying the best of all time. I'm saying currently, right now, he's regarded as the best player in the world right now, right? I don't even think it's arguable.
I believe so. Tied with Messi for the Golden Boot lead with most goals in the tournament at 6. Mexico advances 2-0 over Ecuador. They've won 4 straight home matches. They've yet to allow a goal. 8-0. Their 4-game winning streak margin. That averages out to 2-0 a match. They won 2-0 last night over Ecuador. They had 2 first-half goals after an hour weather delay. Field was a mess, and they look terrific. They get the winner of England-Congo.
Here's the thing for Mexico. They need to take a page from the Norwegians on how to celebrate. Because like 3 people got killed in Mexico in the post-match celebrations last evening. Let's row. We don't need to be killing people after the match. That's all.
No.
That just seems to me like something you'd want to avoid.
I think killing someone after the match, no matter the result, is way overboard. But why are we hurting people after wins?
Right. Thank
Shouldn't
you.
we be happy? Why don't you come on over the house? Got a couple tall ones for you. Or shorties. Whatever.
But
So today,
you going Little Kings on me?
So today, another triple header, noon, 4 and 8, all on Big Fox. England at noon against the Congo. Belgium, Senegal at 4. That match is significant because the winner at 8 o'clock between Bosnia and the United States plays the winner of Belgium, Senegal, highly expected to be Belgium. So there you have it. Noon, 4 and 8. Big Fox. England at noon. If they win, they get Mexico. And then 2 matches in which the winners will play each other. I believe Sunday night at 8. I think a big advantage, by the way, for Mexico coming up in scheduling. First off, they played. England's yet to play. Secondly, Mexico's already home. Where is the England-Congo match? Is it in Mexico? I hope it is. I hope it's the least amount of travel possible for England. Because
It's in Atlanta.
Okay. Well, then they've got to get to, I believe, Mexico City for a Saturday night match against Mexico.
In the altitude.
And the altitude. Thank you, Tommy Morrison.
You're welcome.
Of 7,500 feet.
You're
Mexico
welcome.
City. I will say I was there a couple years ago. You can feel it. Baseball. Rays took game 1 of their series against the Royals in a big way. How about this Caminero guy?
You know, David, he's pretty good.
They got a couple of guys like that.
5th straight game with the dinger for Caminero.
Oh, by the way, 5th straight game, the Rays won. 10-4 over the Royals.
23 now on the year for Junior.
That's like a 40 home run pace.
Right.
Thank you very much. By the way, the Tigers hit 5 homers, had a 4-0 lead before the Yankees even came to bat. Beat the Yankees 9-3. Skubal gave up 1 run in 6 innings. auditioning for, well, whoever he's
The
auditioning
National
for.
League.
Yanks have lost 6 in a row. Just like that, they trail the Rays by 2.5 in the East. Toronto's 6 games below 500, hoping to make up ground playing the Mets. They lost to them 3-0. You know, Boston had won 5 in a row, but they're still 9 games below 500 thanks to their 8-1 loss to the Nats. By the way, this Savali kid for the Nats, 7 innings, 13 strikeouts, gave up 1 hit, and was trash talking the whole time. Cool. White Sox beat the Orioles 9-3. Only thing keeping the Orioles out of last place are the Red Sox. Mark, how about that wager on July 1st? One team would be in first by 2 games and the other would be in last. Red Sox, White Sox. You tell me who's where. It's the White Sox up by 2. They beat the Orioles 9-3. And Cleveland lost to Texas 4-2. Rangers have won 6 in a row. So they continue to lead the West, albeit by half a game. Marlins 14-3 over the Rockies. They went 20-6 in the month of June. Best ever record in a month in franchise history. Franchise has been around over 30 years. That seems pretty good to me. They're percentage points behind the Cardinals for the final wild card spot. Cardinals beat the Braves 5-3. Braves lead in the East down to 2.5. Unbelievable. We knew they were playing over their skis, and their record is still pretty gaudy. But the Marlins and the Phillies, here they come. Speaking of the Phils, 8-0 over the Pirates. Christopher Sanchez. You know what? I would even put him ahead of Sale to start the All-Star game. I mean, it's got to be Mizorowski, but I would put Christopher Sanchez ahead of Sale. I mean, he had the 40-something scoreless innings. All right. I'd put him second and Sale third, but that's just me. 7 innings last night, 9 strikeouts. He's at 10 wins. 10 wins before July. That's pretty good. Phillies 8-0 over the Pirates, who are back to 500. Brewers with 4 in the 4th. Beat up on the Reds 7-2. You know who has the second best record in Major League Baseball? It's okay. You could say it after having the best record in Major League Baseball last year. It's okay. You can answer the question. It won't hurt you. Milwaukee Brewers. Are they the new organization du jour? You know, like when we say, you know, the Eagles call, don't answer the phone. Oklahoma City calls, don't answer the phone. I mean, if Milwaukee calls, is there any reason to answer the phone? Doesn't seem like it to me. Cubs hit 5 homers, beat the Padres 9-7. They're 5.5 back of the Brewers. Dodgers 9-3 over the A's. Dave Roberts' 1,000th win as a manager. Tommy Edmonds, 4 hits, including a homer. Arizona's 8-0 this year against the Giants. They beat them 8-2. Seattle, half game back in Texas, scored 5 in the 6th, 3 in the 7th, beat the Angels 8-3. And, man, give it up for Yordan Alvarez and the Astros. I put a fork in them 2 weeks ago. They've hardly lost since, and he's carrying them. Grand slam in a 6-run 4th. Astros beat the Twins 6-4. 44-year-old Serena Williams lost in 3 sets to 20-year-old Australian Maya Joint, 6-3 in the 3rd. She had moments, though. She looked good. Her family was on hand to watch her play, including her kids. Obviously, they had never been able to experience that before. Americans, Keys, Kennan, and Anisimova all won in 3 sets. Svitolina was upset, the 8 seed. Men's side, top seeds who won, 2nd seed Rybakina, 3rd seed Swatek, both won in 3 sets. Men's side, 4th seeded American Ben Shelton, upset in 5 sets. Ouch. By the way, Stan Wawrinka lost 3 tiebreakers out of Wimbledon, probably his last appearance at Wimbledon. NBA, LeBron called the Lakers and said, hey, I don't know where I'm going to play, but I know it's not going to be with you. So thanks for the 8 years, and I'll see you down the road. And the Clippers are trading Kawhi back to Toronto for Brandon Ingram and some semblance of 5 draft picks. 2 ones, 2 pick swaps, and a second rounder. NBA free agency underway. NHL free agency underway. Panthers made a 5-player deal yesterday with the Devils. They acquired Bobrovsky's replacement. He's 36-year-old Jacob Markstrom from the Devils. 5-player deal. It's very interesting. Jacob Markstrom. First off, he started his career way back when with the Panthers. Last year, he was one of the worst goalies in the league. Year before, he was pretty damn good. He's 36, counting on a bounce-back season from a goalie at 36.
Yeah, that's I mean, the Panthers have told the Vegas Knights, this is how you get old quickly. I mean, they just picked up the captain there from Anaheim, who's mid to late 30s, and a goaltender at 36. You know, they've already got an old team as it is. This is a fascinating attempt at a run to the Stanley Cup. They're going to be tough as nails in the playoffs if they can stay healthy enough to get there. I mean, they're old, David.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. And they've picked up 3 guys in their mid-30s this offseason. And it seems strategic because they can sign them to 1-year deals. Jack Werenski's the Norris Trophy winner. He plays for the Columbus Blue Jackets. He got traded last night to the Dallas Stars. Yeah, there's only one problem. Werenski vetoed the deal. And for some reason, Columbus didn't think he'd either do it or he could do it. So now there are issues in Columbus, Dallas, and with Jack Werenski. And at 7 minutes before the hour, that was the starting 5. 5 big stories you needed to know here on Miller and Moulton.
By the way, Werenski has named 2 teams that he's willing to go to. The Leafs and the Tampa Bay Lightning. Miller and Moulton.
Go! This summer, there's only one place to experience the roar of the World Cup at the British Open Pub in Bonita Springs, your World Cup headquarters, where the team is bringing every match live, full sound on every TV across the patio, with daily food and drink specials from the opening match on June 11th through the final on July 19th. Catch the electric atmosphere for every England and USA match and all the matches in between at the British Open Pub, Bonita Springs, at the shops of Pelican Landing, where the World Cup comes alive.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best. Be Cape.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe. and
The
sound.
Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
We started our show 18 years ago and have been fired 3 times, but Miller and Moulton have never lived on the edge like we are now. We have our best morning ratings ever, are steadily adding affiliates, yet we only have a few sponsors. And if that doesn't change, we can't continue. But if you want to advertise on Miller and Moulton, reach out to one of us directly by texting sponsor to 21,000 or contact Mark on X at @MarkMiller or me at @TheDavidMoulton. You can save Miller and Moulton and make your business some serious money by texting 21,000.
This is Miller and Moulton.
The toughest thing, and ambient, the toughest thing about Miami, and from what Keith said yesterday, is financially, it's just very difficult for Miami to pull that off unless LeBron would play for the veteran minimum. And there's nothing out there that says he would do that. So that's the toughest part with that one. And trust me, I was thinking about buying Heat season tickets if that happened. I mean, to sell them. I wouldn't go to a game, but I'd go to a game or two. But not really. Not really at all, Enzo. David didn't mention it in the starting 5. I mean, he mentioned that it got heated, but I think Cavelli's, that's, I mean, Contreras isn't a black dude. All I know is that when you call someone a boy, that's kind of an insult that crosses the line with a lot of folks. So I understand why he got really pissed. So, I mean, I don't know, cover it. No, I mean, I'm not being a jerk here, Enzo. What's there to cover? If we were on in Boston, I get it. You know what I mean? Or if we were in Washington, that's. I don't mean that, Enzo. You seem to be a pretty big baseball guy. We just don't do a ton of. I don't even think David mentioned, other than it got heated. That he was talking smack when he went through the starting 5. Really, Enzo. I mean, I see what you're saying. I'm not arguing with you. I just.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Hour 2 of Miller and Moulton on this hump day. It's also the first day of July. Happy Canada Day. Happy Bobby Bonilla Day. He's not the only one that gets a deferred check today. I know for the longest time, and he may still, in fact, Ken Griffey Jr., I think, still gets money from the Reds. It's just not as publicized as Bonilla because the Mets are.
We feel like Griffey Jr. earned his.
Yeah.
I mean, the Bonilla one is staggering that it's still going on.
Yeah.
That's, and it was the first of its kind, wasn't it?
It seems like it. I think the thing about the Bonilla, first off, it's the Mets. Okay, and they're a bit of a joke franchise more times than not. But to me, the reason why, because obviously the Bernie Madoff thing hit the Mets very hard. I mean, the Wilpons nearly lost the franchise because of it. And they were very tight with Madoff. They had a good deal of the club financed through the Ponzi scheme. But also, the Mets initiated the Bobby Bonilla deal. Madoff was making them so much money that they were looking to defer anything and everything because he was making them over 8% a year was Madoff. At least that's what it said on paper. And so the Mets went to Bonilla when he did not have a ton of money left on his deal and said, hey, you mind if we defer this? And he said, well, you only owe me like $8 million. And he goes, yeah, let's defer it for like 25, 30 years. He did the math. He said, you're going to pay me like $30 million. And they're like, yeah, but we're going to make like 50. He went, yeah, sure. Fine. So they still owe him money. And needless to say, they didn't make the money that they thought they were going to make. What do they got? About 10 years left with Bonilla? Something like that?
You'd know better than me. This is where your Mets fandom, and I don't. Honestly, it's something I think about once a year when someone posts about it. Other than that, it's not anything that I pay any attention to.
Same here, believe it or not. Like I remember, the deal was years. He had already gotten numerous checks the first time I found out about it.
But the NBA and NHL, the NHL catching the NBA and let's have some fun in the offseason. And good for them. They need it. The NBA offseason is more interesting than the NBA regular season, at least to me. And now we have, and I know he's past his prime, and I know he honks a lot of you off for things he says and does off the court. But LeBron yesterday said, I'm done with the Lakers. I don't know if they had kind of quietly told him first they weren't going to bring him back, but they've divorced.
Yep.
Kawhi's going back to Toronto. And that deal in and of itself is fascinating because the last pick that Toronto get, or that the Clippers get in this deal is the first and second picks of the 2033 draft. And I bring that up because I know they're not talking about going 7 years, but the NFL has talked about going 5 years in terms of tradable draft picks. I, for one, despise the idea. I hate it. It makes, like, to me, this Kawhi trade, whatever, a 2033 pick? Hell, am I even going to be around in 2033? And the GM, if things don't go well, he's gone. The way, to me, you're sabotaging franchises 7 years down the road. So a current GM, who the odds are isn't going to be the GM then, has given away picks, drives me nuts. And in the NFL, if we're able to trade 5 years out, GMs that are trying to save their asses are going to be able to trade picks to destroy their franchises. I hate it. I hate the idea of it.
Well, I totally disagree with you for this reason. If I'm really bad, but I've got one or two good players, and you're pretty good, and you want my one or two good players, me getting a first-round pick from you now when you're good, I mean, the pick's not worth as much. Now, we go 5-7 years down the road, we're probably not going to be good anymore. We're probably going to have run its course. Certainly the player that I'm acquiring, there's a good chance he's not even going to be in the league anymore. And maybe by then you're on the downside, and now I'm getting your first-round pick. So I'm getting a better pick. Also, by doing this, we get more trades. So that if somebody gives away, a bunch of picks in the next couple of years, well, they can still make deals because you can do picks 5 and 7 and however many years out. So I'm in favor of it.
And I'm not being a jerk here. I'm not surprised that you are. You love trades. You like anything that influences more trades in a sport. You've always have. I don't like the idea of a GM being able to acquire one player. I plan on being gone in 3 years, 5 years, so 7 years down the road. I don't give a damn what this franchise looks like.
Well, but you make it sound as if the GM doesn't have to go through the owner, that the GM's just going to run roughshod and get up and leave in 2028, and the people in the organization are going to go, oh, God, now we got a mess in our hands. What do? We didn't see this coming.
Well, David, the NBA draft now, with the way these picks are, it's sometimes laughable. Oh, my goodness. Nobody has a clue who has picks down the road in the NBA because they trade them like they're chiclets.
But yet they're not allowed to trade them in back-to-back years. That's why you keep seeing all these staggered. Okay, and that goes back to Ted Stepien and the owner of the Cavs in the 70s, and he made a couple deals, and they were awful deals for the franchise. And he had traded so many first-round picks in a row that he ruined the franchise for a good long time. And after that, the league said, yeah, we can't let you trade that many first-round picks in a row. You can't do it.
But 21,000, do you like the idea of the NFL extending the window in which draft picks can be traded? First off, I would never agree to 7 years. I think that's ridiculous. I don't like the idea of 5. I like 3. I'm comfortable with where it's at. And David, all I would say to you is the way things turn around in the league, if I were to make a trade, and I'm trying to, Myles Garrett was the easy one, but he's already gone. But whoever that player is, I don't know. The Lions go south, and all of a sudden they decide they're going to trade Hutch,
right,
to the Bucks, who need an edge guy. It's just,
right. Just speculating, right?
Right. I'm just having fun. If the Bucks give their pick for 2029, isn't that solving the same thing you're talking about? The way teams turn around in the NFL, 3 years is a really long time. And we typically don't trade draft picks out even 3 years. I mean, the NFL you're right. It's typically next year. You and I have argued at different times when trades are going. Just give me your, when the Patriots made the deal, when A.J. Brown happened, we're like, hey, I don't want their 27 pick.
No.
I want their 28 pick.
Right.
They're not going to be as good. There's no way they're going to be as good next year. So 3 years in the NFL can be a lifetime. And the NFL more so than the NBA, and I won't even bring baseball into it, but the NBA versus the NFL in this regard, it is much easier in 2 years' time to change the fate of your franchise. We see it every 2 years, it seems. I mean, the Patriots were picking third and fourth not too long ago. They went to the damn Super Bowl. And every year we have a low single-digit win team all of a sudden threaten double-digit wins, whether it's the next year or 2 years later. So I think the ability to go from outhouse to penthouse exists far greater on a short run in the NFL than it does the NBA. That's to the jury.
I have no problem with both leagues doing their own thing and that it's different, but I have no problem with the NBA doing what they're doing. All right, no problem at all, because, and not just because I like deals, all right, but because I think there's a method to the madness. Wait, you're going to be better now than then? Well, I don't want your first round picks now. I want your first round picks then. I want a better return on Kawhi Leonard. Now, remember, I got to wait 5 years before I'm getting any kind of return on this deal. I mean, if you're the Clippers, I mean, this is usually you make a major deal like this, you get short-term help. I guess Brandon Ingram is their short-term help because they ain't getting a lot of help from the draft.
No, who was on his way of being a really good player. Now he's had an injury. We'll see what happens there. And but apparently Toronto's going to sign Kawhi long-term, and that takes them pretty deep into his career or into his late 30s. And he gets injured a lot. So
yes,
this is a fascinating trade on a lot of fronts.
But amazing what one healthy year can do. Because a year ago at this time, do you think you could have found a team that would have made a major investment and acquisition of Kawhi Leonard? He hadn't played more than 50 games in a season, I think, this decade. And now all of a sudden this year he's healthy. He's all NBA. He looks like Kawhi Leonard. And Toronto, I mean, he's a god there. He was there a year. He won him a title. They thanked him. And they always gave him standing ovations in the year since. Well, now he's coming back.
So just trying to take what the NBA does, spin it to the NFL, because there's been talk of extending the time in which you can trade a draft pick. They've pushed it, kicked the can down the road. We'll see if it happens coming up. It's currently 3 years. They're talking about taking it to 5. Miller and Moulton.
We started our show 18 years ago and have been fired 3 times, but Miller and Moulton have never lived on the edge like we are now. We have our best morning ratings ever, are steadily adding affiliates, yet we only have a few sponsors. And if that doesn't change, we can't continue. But if you want to advertise on Miller and Moulton, reach out to one of us directly by texting sponsor to 21,000 or contact Mark on X at @MarkMiller or me at @TheDavidMoulton. You can save Miller and Moulton and make your business some serious money by texting 21,000 now.
No!
This summer, there's only one place to experience the roar of the World Cup at the British Open Pub in Bonita Springs, your World Cup headquarters, where the team is bringing every match live, full sound on every TV across the patio with daily food and drink specials from the opening match on June 11th through the final on July 19th. Catch the electric atmosphere for every England and USA match and all the matches in between at the British Open Pub, Bonita Springs, at the shops of Pelican Landing, where the World Cup comes alive. Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in. 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Offbeat question for everyone. Have any of you ever been to, is it a kava bar and had any of that crap? I am astonished. There's one near where my daughter does gymnastics, and it's packed all the time. I know for a fact I'm not even, because I looked up what it was. I did a quick chat GPT when I drove by it, and they literally, because chat GPT knows my cancer, because I've asked questions on it. They're like, if you've had a bone marrow transplant, you probably should check with your doctor before you have that. It can react to what it is. It's Jets, it gives you some sort of a buzz. It's I guess there are natural relaxation things. It's herb. I don't want to call it a drug. It's some sort of an herb. And they put there we go. Come on. When's it going to get here? Come on. Please show up by Saturday. Got to have you by Saturday. Doesn't look good. I literally can't try it. Medically, I can't be putting anything in my body like that right now. And was it Crantum? Is that the one thing that everybody's trying that I don't know what that does for you? That's in some of them as well. If I'm saying that wrong, I apologize. I don't know these new wave drugs. Oh, don't be sorry. It's not anything to be sorry about. I just, that's not something, that's what I just said. I can't have it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Michael, trust me, I'm well aware of what I can and can't have, and I don't deviate at all. If I'm not eating steak, do you guys think I'm going to have some supplement? I mean, come on now. Give me a little more credit than that. I just asked the question if anybody has tried it. I'm not running out to have it anytime soon. My wife had one because she needed to use the bathroom when she was traveling from work and thought, well, that looks like a clean place. And she thought it was like coffee and ordered one, used the restroom, picked it up and said she got quite a buzz from it. She's like, whoa. Which I found to be hilarious. Trust me, when I'm allowed to have anything, it's going to be booze, gang, or an edible. It's one or the other. You can book it. Write it down. I ain't messing with a kava bar for my first taste of something different. It ain't happening. Kava, whatever. Sure, I said it wrong.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. We'll talk a little Florida Panthers coming up in a little more than 15 minutes time. They've been very busy, very active. Armando Velez. He goes by the Mondo Man. He'll join us. Talk a little Panthers, who replaced Bob yesterday.
With another old guy.
Yeah, without the track record.
Right. Fascinating move. We'll see if there are other goalies in the Panthers' futures. Want to get to the Pelican Roofing of Florida text line quickly because I asked people to text their opinions on the NFL trading rules, which may be changed. They tabled it. So it's something that will be brought up again in owners' meetings, and it very well, right now, the longest you can trade a draft pick out is 3 seasons. They are talking about going to 5. David and I had our discussion. David is for 5. I am against 5. It's not shtick. It's genuinely the way we feel. One texter says, I think David's opinion, future drafts, is far more hypothetical than Mark. GM's making bad trades for job security. Another one, this guy's on your side. As a fan with a team with a competent GM and front office, I love it. Howie'd have a field day being able to fleece teams for more of their picks. And then 5 years is too long to trade first-round picks. I think the limit should be 3. What do you think? 21,000 is the number. If you've not texted the show before, you need to text a very simple keyword. That's Miller. Then the text line's open to you. Fire away as much as you would like.
Now, teams have gone more than 3 and 5 years without first-round picks because they've just ended up trading them, like the Rams, who, ironically, the only first-round pick they've had before this year. They went, 10 years with 1 first-round pick, Jared Verse, and they traded him for Myles Garrett.
Correct.
Because if you go back to golf, they traded him. And so, all of their first round picks, they got rid of in some way, shape, or form, either trading or then trading the player eventually afterwards. And so now here we go this year. The one they used in a trade, and the other, they're putting the kid on the shelf for 2-3 years. And I guess we'll find out in the early 2030s if he can play.
There you go. So, and that's the thing. I guess I could see the NFL doing it, even though I'm against it, because there seemingly is more of a difference of philosophies with first-round draft picks than ever before in the league, David. I mean, there was a time in which these draft picks were gold. Teams did not give up first and a lot of times second day picks. Now there's because the Rams have been successful trading away these picks.
Right.
Other teams are using the Rams philosophy. So I could see this happening simply because there's a changing of the guard in how NFL GMs operate.
And there's like 3 or 4 former Rams front office people who are now GMs, like the young guy in Jacksonville.
Right.
And what's the first thing he did? Travis Hunter trade. Gave up 2 first-round picks.
Now they need that to work out.
Right.
Because truthfully, if you look at the Jags, they did most of this without Travis Hunter. They need Travis Hunter to be a much bigger producer for their team next year. And it looks as if it's only going to be on defense with some very limited packages on the offensive side of the ball.
Right. Listen, he's going to have a hell of an NFL career for that trade grade to be a good one. I mean, Jacksonville gave up a lot for Travis Hunter. And they sold it as, we're getting 2-way Travis Hunter. We're getting the college guy. He'll be able to do it on Sundays. Yeah, let's go to plan B.
And because of his injury, they made a move last year to basically fill his role on the offensive side of the football. And I'm not saying that he couldn't be a good offensive player, but now that they've got, 3 competent receivers, they don't need Travis Hunter on the offensive side of the ball the way that they thought they did when the year began last year, David.
Correct.
They picked up Jacoby Myers. So all of a sudden, they've got Brian Thomas Jr. Parker Washington turned out to be pretty solid for them. And Myers, they've got 3 receivers. So when they use Hunter, it will be in limited packages at best. So you're right. I mean, he's got to be a flat-out shutdown corner now.
Oh, yeah.
In a good one.
Yeah. And have a long career. I mean, it's got to be at least 7-8 years, okay, for you to think that the Jags didn't get fleeced.
And we've talked about it a handful of times already. This is a critical year for the Jags on a lot of fronts. I mean, it doesn't matter what they do. The money's being spent. The stadium's getting redone. They're pouring billions of dollars into that area. Needs it. But back-to-back good years for the Jags have been few and far between.
Yep.
And now expectations are as high as they've been in a long time, that they can maintain a level of play that puts them in the top third of the league. That's what they're looking for.
Yep.
A perennial playoff team.
Yep.
And a division that's sneaky good. No one thinks of the AFC South as a good division. But Houston has arguably the best defense in the league. They got a quarterback that's got to figure it out. As we've talked about, the Colts were 8-2 before their QB went down. What are they coming back? And Tennessee can't get worse.
No, they'll be a lot better, actually.
They'll be coached better. Their players are a year older. We'll see what Cam Ward becomes as an NFL quarterback. So, a lot riding on this Jags year. A lot riding.
And for what it's worth, most talent evaluators think that the Jags drafted a year ahead, that they're not going to get a ton out of this year's draft, that they drafted the way good teams like to draft, where they grab players a year early to come in, learn the system, etc., be backups, and then expect a lot more out of them in 27, 28, and beyond.
No, and it's obvious. Just checking out their depth chart, David, they don't have one draft pick listed as a starter. I mean, not one. And that's unusual for all NFL teams, even the really good ones. So without a first-round pick, because of the Hunter deal, they've got to figure out a way. And I don't think, that defense was terrific. Will they get as many takeaways as they did a year ago? Seems highly unlikely. The running back room's not as good. It's just not. So can the QB do what he needs to do to be the guy that they expected him to be when they drafted him? Because thus far, he hasn't.
Well, I think he was better last year than you're willing to acknowledge. But listen, the contract starts now. I mean, we just had the appetizers. What Mark's touching upon is the main course is being served now. And is he going to play up to the salary beginning this year? And that salary's double nickel. Miller and Moulton. Armando Velez, the Mondo man, to talk the Florida Panthers next.
No!
This
summer, there's only one place to experience the roar of the World Cup at the British Open Pub in Bonita Springs, your World Cup headquarters, where the team is bringing every match live, full sound on every TV across the patio with daily food and drink specials from the opening match on June 11th through the final on July 19th. Catch the electric atmosphere for every England and USA match and all the matches in between at the British Open Pub, Bonita Springs, at the shops of Pelican Landing, where the World Cup comes alive.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Floor Meisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floor Meisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Armando, good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right, good deal. Thanks for doing this. Appreciate it. I love the practice rink in the background.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Is that the old Incredible Ice facility? Is that where they're still at?
No, that's the Fort Lauderdale one.
Okay. Where are you at?
I'm in Orlando.
Oh, all right. So is that where the Solar Bears practice then?
No. This is the green screen that I have here.
Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't even realize that. Now that you moved, I saw the Panthers logo behind you.
Yeah.
Very nice.
I'm 15 minutes away from the Kia Center where they play.
Is Orlando home for you?
Yeah, currently.
All right. They're not boring this offseason, are they?
Nope, it keeps me busy whenever it comes to the content creating.
No doubt. They're old, but they're not boring.
No, definitely not.
The stuff I was seeing I have a TikTok problem. I admit it. I guess that's the first step of knowing you have a problem. But some of the stuff I was seeing yesterday, I was just cracking up about. They're just going to beat the crap out of every player. And, it was funny.
Yeah, it's so funny. I don't have access to my Locked On TikTok account. That's all the management team there. But the Twitter and the Instagram, that I have access to.
The content, the people. I mean, Leafs fans making comments on how dirty the Panthers are going to be, and they're going through the line with Bennett and the two Kachuk brothers, and their mentions. And I haven't brought up the Rat Marchand yet. I got a kick out of it yesterday. I was sitting there watching a little World Cup and just scrolling through, laughing my tail off.
It's going to be what I've described as a house of pain.
Yes,
every line that you go through it's going to be painful for whoever plays them.
Very, and I mean, I look at it, and we'll get into it here in a minute, but I mean, it also, they're so old, and the Kachucks have had a health problem, Matthew more than Brady, but as long as they make the playoffs healthy, I don't give a damn what happens in the regular season. Yeah. Just be healthy come the first week of April, and they're going to be a problem.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're just, you got to go through it from the pace, and then you get healthy once you get to game one, and then survival of the fittest after that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Not letting you have, with all this content, though, they're not letting you have much of a vacation. The NHL thinks they're the NBA here with all this stuff.
Hey, trade activity makes it a conversation. And with Team USA winning gold at the Olympics, it's everyone wants to know what's going on.
I think this is like this type of offset. I'm a hockey guy. I worked in minor pro hockey for almost 20 years. So I love the sport and played it as a kid. So I'm all for the NHL getting more pub. I mean, I think this is terrific that they can have an off season that there's actually juicy stuff that people outside of Toronto are into, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, no doubt. And for the Stanley Cup final, they had a high viewership numbers as well.
Right.
Also because ABC is over the air television, so that helps. So whenever the Stanley Cup finals on TNT, the ratings are actually down.
Right. And it was Carolina and Vegas. It wasn't like it was a Chicago and New York, an original 6 team that draws all these fans. So, I mean, the Carolina actually did a number. Look at that. Look at that Marlins Cup there. Look at you having the best June in franchise history.
All South Florida, all the time.
As well you should be. As well you should be.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes till Seth Everett will join us for his weekly Hump Day appearance. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. He covers the Florida Panthers for both the hockey news and he hosts the Locked On Panthers podcast. He's Armando Velez. Follow him on X at MandoMan12, MandoMan and the number 12. Armando, it's David and Mark. Thanks for doing this. How you been?
Busy with the Florida Panthers offseason, all the activity that they've had throughout with trying to get back to a point of contention. So yeah, no boring days here in the world of the Florida Panthers.
No doubt. From a surprise standpoint of all the moves they've been making, because we were talking about this earlier, it would have been really easy for Bill Zito and company to say, look, we had injuries, things didn't go right, Barkov's back. We're just going to run this sucker back because we're good enough. And that's not the method they took. So just how surprised are you about all of the offseason moves the Panthers have made?
Yeah, it's funny because the most surprising move is actually a move that I knew was going to happen, but I didn't know it was going to happen this soon, if that makes any sense. It's the Brady Tkachuk deal when they first traded for him, because none of us even knew that he was requesting a trade out of Ottawa to begin with. I knew that one day that the brothers wanted to reunite and play on the same team and everything, but for it to happen this soon with 2 years left on the deal, and for the Florida Panthers having that question with 2 expiring contracts in goal, I didn't think that it was going to happen this soon for the Florida Panthers. I thought that this was going to be a year of a whole bunch of bridge deals and lower level signings for the Florida Panthers, but not landing the big fish in Brady Tkachuk. But hey, you got to strike. You got to strike when the opportunity is there. In the case of Bill Zito and giving up 3 first-round picks, they were able to acquire one for trading Mackie Samoskevich out, so it doesn't hurt as much. But Mackie Samoskevich didn't have necessarily a long-term fit with the Panthers, so yeah, that was the most surprising move of the offseason for the Panthers, and now their top 9 is set. It's scary. It's definitely one that opponents are going to have a hard time, I believe, playing in 2026-27.
But they just acquired last year one of the worst goalies in the league. And they acquired him to be their
pseudo number one. I mean, he doesn't have to be 60 games a year number one, but he's probably going to expect it to be 48 games number one goalie. And right now, he would start the playoffs if the playoffs started tomorrow for the Panthers in Jacob Markstrom. Listen, the Panthers are smart. It's stupid of people like me to question the Panthers. However, boy, you're counting on a 36-year-old goalie to have a bounce-back season. I know there weren't a lot of goalies out there, but should they have tried a little harder?
Well, it's funny because they did try to trade for Connor Hellebuck from the Winnipeg Jets, but the ask was reportedly for center Anton Lundell. And with the Florida Panthers and what they've done in the last 3 postseasons, even in the Stanley Cup final that they lost against Vegas in 2023, what was the difference for the Florida Panthers? It was their centers down the middle in Barkov, Bennett, and Lundell, and interchanging that winger on the third line the last three runs. So the Panthers see Anton Lundell's value, and the Panthers are a high possession puck hockey team. So the puck is going to be on the opponent's end so much because of how aggressive forecheck and their ability to keep the puck into the zone, that the goaltender doesn't necessarily need to make those game-breaking saves over and over again. And with a little bit of a size difference between Jacob Markstrom and current now Akira Schmid compared to Sergei Bobrovsky, they're a little bit bigger, so you're not needing to rely so much on their athleticism to make stops. So that's why I believe the Panthers did make the gamble. And if Sergei Bobrovsky's ask was the 6 or 7 year term, I don't know if I'm comfortable signing that to begin with, because he's 37 going all the way until 42, 43 years old. This gives the Panthers an opportunity to get a little bit of a reclamation project, trust their system and what it is, and also give themselves some flexibility in the short term, because these next 2 years for the Panthers, it's not as all the expiring contracts that they have will be depth guys, with the exception of Brady Tkachuk 2 years from now, which the Panthers will have $44 million in cap space to have the ability to sign him. But the rest of the lineup, you could still put the pieces around the core.
You know, I try to say that they're an old team, but the fact of the matter is Marchand's old. You know, they got a couple of defensemen. The kid, the guy they just picked up from Anaheim there, yeah, he's old. But really, this is a bunch of 30-year-olds. So they're a team. I mean, this is a 3-year window where they should be set. And as you mentioned, up the middle, they're as good as anybody in the league. They're going to be incredibly physical. But the Tkachuk brothers, especially Matthews, been fighting injury. Barkov coming off of an injury. That's really, I mean, is health the biggest question for this team going forward?
Yeah, and it was that same thing last year before opening night, where it started with the offseason surgery that Matthew Tkachuk had after the Stanley Cup final. He was playing with that torn adductor injury and the sports hernia. So the Panthers were very fortunate to at least keep a good amount of their depth pieces, because Jesper Boquist and Evan Rodriguez, who were just traded for Jacob Markstrom, they bought a little bit of time with the Florida Panthers due to them being on LTIR, and it helped them stay with the group. And also the unity with the group, and that they never turn on each other, is so admirable when it comes to this group. But now for the Panthers, with the cap rising, and obviously in hockey, all the cap hits don't change. It's not like the NFL where you're restructuring deals and everything. So that helps everybody fit, plus the ability to add, and also with a long off season for the Panthers to rest and get healthier, so they're not going through the gauntlet again. This gives them an opportunity to at least pace themselves through the regular season, get their game right, and also have that fresh energy of the guys who hadn't won a cup before, so that they can be ready for once mid-April begins, which hopefully they find themselves in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Because right now, according to FanDuel, they are tied for the best odds to win the Stanley Cup with the Colorado Avalanche at +700.
Well, I don't think we should be relying on bettors. Take a look at our track record. But yeah, I mean, they're going to be highly thought of. I guess my concern is heading into the playoffs next year, and I have no doubt that they will make the playoffs. I really think if we dig down on the Eastern Conference, there were 4 good teams. And I mean, the 3 in the one division and Carolina. There were 4 good teams in the East. And they got a lot of teams that got to get their act together. And the bottom half of this conference could turn over overnight. With that said, though, I mean, aren't the Panthers going to be Vegas, Pittsburgh, to some extent Carolina, where we head into the playoffs next year? And I don't care how well Jacob Markstrom's been playing. Don't tell me you're sold on Jacob Markstrom. Don't tell me he pulls a Freddie Anderson and wins 2 series without losing a game. And you're still out of the side of your mouth going, I don't know how long this Markstrom guy is going to keep playing like this, but we'll take it. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean, Jacob Markstrom is who they've decided to go with.
Yeah. And I guess it comes down to the Panthers not wanting to string themselves to someone for the long term and give themselves an opportunity to reset the position in a few years. So I that's what I believe the move why for the Panthers. But yeah, Carolina, now they have all the confidence in the world winning the Stanley Cup. I mean, they didn't go through the Panthers to get to the Stanley Cup, but for the division's still going to be competitive. The Tampa Bay Lightning are reportedly in on Zach Werenski. The Toronto Maple Leafs just drafted Gavin McKenna over first overall, but we don't know how that is going to look as far as that marriage. And they're also in on Sergei Bobrovsky reportedly. So they're looking for a bounce back there. The division is tough. Buffalo made the playoffs for the first time in 15 years. Montreal is a group that's learning how to go through the pains of a Stanley Cup playoff. So yeah, the Panthers, despite this 1 year of not making the postseason, they are still the hunted because they're the team that everybody just hates to play against. And yeah, I was also not really confident if they were to bring Jacob Markstrom in, because I actually posted an episode about it just 2 weeks ago. It's like, I don't know. He's coming off of his worst season, a -11 in the goal save above expected category. But Jacob Markstrom was outstanding for Team Sweden in the Olympics, where Team USA beat them in overtime thanks to Quinn Hughes there. So if the situation is good around him, maybe that could help him succeed for the Florida Panthers. And it's also a homecoming because he was traded out of the Florida Panthers in 2014 for Roberto Luongo to bring him back. And now they're under the same franchise because Roberto Luongo is the lead of the goalie excellence department.
All right. They got to fill the roster out. I don't know what's expected, but there's a couple of guys that are draft picks. They still have some young players in the system. Are there some 22-year-olds that are gonna make this roster? Because it would seem invaluable to me that some of these young players, with the Barkovs, with the Kachuk brothers, with even Marchand, I mean, there's such a learning experience from these players. Do you expect any of the kids to make the big roster this year? Because they've still got to fill this thing out. They've used most of the cap already. So getting guys at that basic $1 million rate is what's needed. So any kid's going to make this roster.
Yeah, as of right now, the Florida Panthers do have $4.45 million in cap space right now, with 4 roster spots to fill. You think that they're going to sign Radko Gudas to a contract after trading for his UFA rights? They're going to sign Akira Schmid to his qualifying offer of just over $900,000. And one of the pieces that they got back in the trade, in Angus Crookshank, he's also on a one-way deal. So I'm assuming that he's going to at least be on the Panthers cap sheet for the summer unless he gets traded. But there's one player that I believe that the Florida Panthers really value, and I believe that he's going to make a case to make the opening night roster. And he actually played a lot of time last season for the Panthers. Sandis Vilmanis, a former 5th-round pick for the Panthers, and made his debut last year. He played on a checking role on the 4th line. He brought in a scoring touch on the 2nd line. He played for Team Latvia in the Olympics this past year. So he's been a little bit of a Swiss Army knife for the Florida Panthers. And with putting Evan Rodriguez in that trade for Jacob Markstrom, he's seen as that cheaper option type of addition for the Florida Panthers that I believe that they will use as far as needing to squeeze out pieces to fill out the roster on the cheap for this Panther squad. So I believe Sandis Vilmanis will make a big case to make the opening night roster.
He hosts the Locked On Panthers podcast. He covers the Panthers for the Hockey News. He's Armando Velez. He goes by Mondo Man 12 on X. Mondo Man, M-A-N-D-O-M-A-N, the number 12. Armando, thanks for doing this. We appreciate it. Have a great holiday.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.
Armando Velez, Locked On Panthers podcast. I agree with them not going 6-7 years on 37-year-old Bob. And I thought he showed real slippage last year, too. Now, the guys around him weren't there, but I thought he showed real slippage last year. I have no problem them moving on from Bob, everything considered. Jacob,
they not only dealt with Barkov being hurt last year, Forsland went through injuries on the back line. So I do think, I'm with you, David. They're a playoff team.
Yeah.
I'd be stunned, literally stunned, if they missed the playoffs back-to-back years. But love the moves they're making. Don't like the goaltender. I don't understand this. I hope it works out for him. But as you said, the point you made is legitimate. When it gets to the postseason, and that's all that matters, do they really have a guy that they trust between the pipes? And at this moment in time, not to me.
Now, we talk about many things with Seth Everett every week, and we will probably talk about many things coming up in less than 10 minutes. But this is where Seth Everett, being a Devils homer, is going to come in very handy, because I want to see if he's glass half full, glass half empty on Jacob Markstrom. If you're a Florida Panthers fan, okay, Devils analyst Seth Everett might be really key for the rest of your offseason, whether or not he has confidence. The guy who was their number one goalie 2 years ago when they made the playoffs and played well in the playoffs, or the guy last year who statistically was one of the 5 worst goalies in the league. Who did they just acquire?
Plus, next hour, we'll check in with Glenn Davis as we get ready for tonight's first knockout game for the U.S. men's national team. 3 host nations, 2 have moved on. Canada, a win. Mexico last night, a convincing win. Well, now it's the U.S.'s turn. They play tonight, England, this afternoon. Seth Everett coming up on the other side. Glenn Davis, bottom of the 8 o'clock hour. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
If you're a business who targets men, please know there is no better and more economical way to reach your target audience than us at Miller & Moulton. So let us help you make money. You can reach out to Mark at @MarkMiller or me at @DavidMoulton on X, or text us at 21,000. We have a proven product, a good reputation, and lots of quality segments that we can attach your company's name to. Miller & Moulton, we're like that old pizza box. You've had the rest, now try the best. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and
The
sound.
Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000 depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. capecops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
No!
This summer, there's only one place to experience the roar of the World Cup at the British Open Pub in Bonita Springs, your World Cup headquarters, where the team is bringing every match live, full sound on every TV across the patio with daily food and drink specials from the opening match on June 11th through the final on July 19th. Catch the electric atmosphere for every England and USA match and all the matches in between at the British Open Pub, Bonita Springs, at the shops of Pelican Landing, where the World Cup comes alive.
This is Miller and Moulton.
What's
Good
up?
morning. Hi, Seth. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I am good, thank you.
I have a cool story about this T-shirt.
Okay.
In 2021, which was the second year I started watching Arsenal, there's something called the Euros, which is like a World Cup, but just in Europe.
Yeah. I'm actually aware of the Euros.
Yeah. So
It's not just a monetary thing.
England was in the final, and it went to penalties. 3 black players missed penalty shots, and they lost, and England lost. And the amount of vitriol that these 3 players felt was like unprecedented. Like it was disgusting. It was horrible. Jason Sudeikis was in the midst of Ted Lasso and made these shirts, and these are the 3 players.
Gotcha.
So with England playing today, I thought it was cool to wear.
All right. I like it.
Starting.
You know, my daughter is becoming close to being a teenager, and it shows because she's still asleep this morning.
Well, I know that. I got 2 in the other room.
I have to keep my door shut to the office here where I do the show because I wake her up otherwise. And also because, you know, she was still a kid and, you know, you had to have the door open for her. And now the bedroom door is shut.
Will never be opened again.
Correct.
David, I heard your last segment, man. You sound good. Your voice is much better, man.
Yeah. I don't know why. To be brutally honest.
Yeah.
I just want to answer Nanny in our Twitch chat room. We're all in the Eastern time zone. So it's approaching 8 a.m. where we are.
I used to say when I did national, I would say it's 8 in the East, it's 5 in the West. And if you're somewhere in between, it's sometime in between.
Look at you. Witty repartee.
I have a funny work thing to tell you guys, too.
Is it just Seth funny or is it everybody funny?
No, it's everybody funny. It's a
okay.
cool little thing. I'll save it for the show.
It is a jerk move I make with my wife. She'll say, "Can I tell you a funny story?" And I answer with, "I don't know."
Yeah. No. It's good. It's fun, but I don't want to say it twice.
I'm glad.
It's supposed to be 104 today. Or sorry, only tomorrow. It's supposed to be 97 today.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Halfway home on this hump day. It's July 1st. It's Happy Canada Day. Happy Bobby Bonilla Day. And it's Happy Seth Everett Day here on Miller and Moulton. MillerandMoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. You know Seth, his two great podcasts, Sports with Friends, Hall of Justice, which one he decides to do every week. That's why we have him on, just to find out. We'll find out which one coming up in about 10, 12 minutes. How are you?
I'm good. I have an extra little thing to plug, if that's okay. Tomorrow night, and you guys, David, you're going to crack up. Tomorrow night, I am guest hosting New York Sports Nightly on WPIX Channel 11.
How did you get that gig?
I am hosting with Nelson Figueroa at 11 p.m., and I found out that I get WPIX because that's how I watch some of my Syracuse ACC games on WPIX. So it's the Honeymooners, The Odd Couple, Star Trek reruns, and me.
Well, but I think the news leads into you, and our buddy Mark Malusis is their main sports guide.
Not anymore.
Not anymore?
Not for a while. Not for a while.
Yeah. Okay. So good luck.
Thanks.
Who knows? Could be a big gig in it for you.
They want to do a segment on the origin of Sports with Friends because Nelson Figueroa knew Daryl, and that's how Sports with Friends got started. And they want to do a whole segment on that and how Eli Manning was the first guest and all that stuff. They're building a segment into the show about that. I said, well, that I'm well versed in.
Good for you. And Nelson's been a guest on this show as well.
Good dude.
So good for you. Congratulations. Branching out. I mean, pretty soon he'll be a professor at like 6 universities and have trying to increase the number of W-2s he can get to over 10 in 2027.
Yeah, they asked for photos of me and like Daryl and me and Eli. I said, yeah, well, my hair's a lot darker.
Yeah,
boom.
That's at least you still have it. I mean that's
true. That's
gray is better. I think gray is better than none.
Always.
That's my personal opinion. And having gone with none for a while, it's a weird look. I didn't. People said you didn't look bad bald when I lost all my hair here. I'm like, it was just weird. That's all. Every time you look at yourself in the mirror, and my daughter, when she saw me for the first time, she goes, "You look like an egg," and I could never get that out of my head that I looked like an egg. Seth, you were critical of the World Cup going into it.
Yeah,
and there are plenty of reasons why. We don't need to rehash all of that. You said you started watching. I will say, Seth, the thing that has been, I don't know, there have been a couple of things that I've found that I've really enjoyed about this tournament. I think the soccer has been terrific. I don't care about that. I'm not a soccer expert. But whether it's the Norwegian fans and their rowing, whether it's the embrace of American culture from all of these European, Australian, and South American fans, all of the problems that could have happened seemingly have not. And this thing's been a huge success, particularly for the United States. And now they need to win today, but take the soccer out of it. This thing's been a win. Even the things you were worried about, the travel and there's been some jam ups on the highway, but this thing's done a lot better than I think even the biggest pessimists expected.
Well, my point that I've noticed, and I have to say I'm surprised. The ticket prices are ridiculous. I mean, they're absolutely ridiculous, and yet there's not an empty seat in any of these stadiums. That's amazing. I mean, I guess people are doing very well in other countries. It's been great. I've enjoyed it a lot. The soccer has been great. My favorite game was that Brazil game the 2 days ago when Arsenal's own Gabriel Martinelli scored the goal with 2 seconds, 2 minutes left in extra time, and that was great. I thought that was fantastic. Watching it from the perspective of just trying to root for my guys has been enlightening because it's only been like 1 or 2 games a day. So I haven't watched 4 games a day. So I've had it in dribs and drabs, but it has been a great distraction. The sport is great. The sport is exciting. 5 years ago, I started watching this sport with an open mind, and I have been enthralled by this game. It's a really fun sport.
Yeah, it's an absolute must win, though, tonight. It's the biggest game in the history of U.S. men's soccer tonight. They have to win. You can't spin this.
Yeah.
You can't because, well, the big deal that the World Cup was an overwhelming success in the United States economically. It'll probably be, we went 32 years before we got it back. Okay, it'd be probably at least 20 before we get it again. Okay, we can only spin this. And Mark, I'm not questioning what you're saying. You're 100+% right. It's been awesome, better than we all thought it would have been. Yeah, but now they got to win.
Yeah, it's a big one. It's a really, really big game. Look, they are a talented bunch. I think they have, I want to say 6 guys on their roster that play in Europe right now, and they are a quality team. They are a good team. They have to win. They are favored to win this game. They're better than them. You know, I thought with Tim Howard, who got crushed for saying it, I thought he was right in saying in order for them to win, they're going to have to beat some heavyweights. That's not who they're playing today. They have to win today. The next round, the round of 16, they will probably be a favorite again.
No,
but the idea that
Belgium, think will be a favorite against Belgium.
I think they could beat Belgium.
I think they can beat Belgium. I don't think they'll be favored.
Okay, yes, Samantha. Yeah, yes. What I'm saying is the games that they can win, you hope that they will win. What I will be saying is I don't see the chance for them to win in the semifinals or the fun, but that's getting ahead. Like it's one game at a time, and tonight's a big game. Yeah.
And look at it. And my question was non-soccer. Right? Like I'm just talking about it from the experience. And I'm with you on the ticket prices because yesterday on one of the 75 different sports emails I get, ticket prices have finally plunged. And I'm like, oh, really? And I jump on SeatGeek and I start looking.
I look too.
The next game at Miami, and they're like $5,000 a ticket. I'm like, plunging where?
I looked. This weekend, France is playing at Philadelphia. I thought about it. I looked. There's a game at MetLife on Sunday. I thought about it. I was like, no, there's no. That's multiple thousands of dollars. That WPIX money hasn't even cashed yet.
Right. When we're talking 2 mortgage payments for a ticket, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Watch it on TV.
Right.
Who did the Panthers just acquire in net? Seriously, I want you to tell us, which includes a bunch of Florida Panthers fans, what you thought of Jacob Markstrom 24 hours ago. Do not change your scouting report. Go.
Quality goalie past his prime. His best years are behind him, and they knew it. Looking at that deal objectively, they got the Panthers to take all the money. Win. And Evan Rodriguez, if he gives them anything, that's bonus. The back was you freed up cap space because you have to re-sign Heischer, and you need to get another forward, and you need a goalie. So that was a deal I would have made. I would have been surprised if Markstrom was in camp this year. But I liked him. I like him. I like his attitude. He's a real good team dude, and was great in the Olympics.
He was, and I'm a Rodriguez guy, so I think that's a good move. For it's just 1 year left. It's $3 million. If he plays well, he's 30. He'll be 33. You can sign him for a couple more. I mean, he obviously brings that element of I've won. I know what a winning locker room's like, and I don't think that hurts the Devils either. But you're right.
I mean, they freed up a lot of money. Yeah, they freed up a lot of money, and they have to make a splash because you know that Quinn Hughes hasn't signed his extension in Minnesota yet. And if Quinn Hughes signs the full extension, Jack's gone. So you have a short window. This is a win now. And if you freed up, you traded Nemec to Calgary, traded Markstrom to Florida, you got them to take the money on both. Great. Now spend it.
Yeah, there are some fascinating scenarios out there where if the Hughes brothers in Minnesota. If he signs his deal, then the Hughes brother in New Jersey is gone. If he doesn't sign his extension now, he's letting Minnesota know that he ain't going to be there in 2 years. So then do the Hughes brothers reunite in Jersey? Do they get together and reunite in Florida somewhere?
I mean, you could have stopped that sentence there. Yeah.
No, but you know what I mean. It's fascinating how the one Hughes brother is going to dictate where the other one goes, and then they're both going to dictate where they could both go potentially.
Right, and if they like the little brother, Bobby Brady out of this bunch, they have him under control for like 6 years too. So,
all right, question for you, Seth, on this though, because the NHL's always been different. The NHL has been about loyalty to team, and this U.S. Olympic team has really changed the narrative of how players deal with organizations. Brady Tkachuk says, I want out. He gets out. Dylan Larkin says, I want out. Yzerman saying, well, I'm going to do what's best for the team. Good luck with that, Stevie. You've got the Werenski there in Columbus who said no to a trade to Dallas, but I'll go to these two teams.
Yeah.
The stars have never dictated where they go. Austin Matthews. I mean, McDavid's coming up, and I know McDavid's Canadian. So, but all I'm saying is we have a different era of NHL player. Is that good for the league? Because that's one of the things fans like is kind of the loyalty and the way that the players always acted. Well, these guys are acting more like NBA players than NHL players, if you know what I mean.
Well, it's a good point, because the idea that, the best competitive balance in the sport exists in the NHL, keep it that way. And, you want it to be where you have, the NHL can boast usually, 3 to 5 teams every year that are good quality teams that don't make the playoffs. Keep it that way. Don't become top heavy like the NBA.
Seth Everett, Sports with Friends Hall of Justice. Follow him on X at Seth_Everett. 10 seconds. What do you got?
Hall of Justice Supergirl, the new movie that came out there this week. It's bombed at the box office. We discuss why.
Okay. All right.
With all kinds of spoilers.
Oh, yeah. Loads of spoilers.
He's always admitted all kinds of spoilers. He's Seth Everett, Hall of Justice, Sports with Friends podcast here on Miller and Moulton.
The Floormeisters just doesn't sell Core-Tech and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. capecops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine, no more snoring, no more tossing, no more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and
This
sound.
is Miller and Moulton.
Nani, never. I don't understand it. The games last for 7 days. I don't get it. But I'm not against it. I just don't. It's not a sport that's ever caught on in the States. And we can watch it for free too, Nanny. We get to watch the game for free. However, going to the games is ridiculously expensive. I mean, now there were a couple of the games that were on, pay TV, if you will, cable TV in this country, but I think from here on out, everything is on quote unquote free TV, over the air television.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Armando Velez and Seth Everett have just joined us back to back. Glenn Davis will join us coming up in about 15 minutes to talk World Cup soccer in the United States tonight against Bosnia-Herzegovina. Big favorites. Win or go home time in the World Cup. Can I try to read the tea leaves to make a prediction?
Sure. What kind of tea? Prefer it to be sweet tea. I really do like sweet tea, David.
And sweet tea it is.
Thank you.
And I'll do this, and if I'm right, you can have my tea. So, way back in the day, 2 years in advance, actually, you and our former producer, but you very confidently said LeBron was going to Miami 2 years before he did. One of the few things we got right, and you read some tea leaves, and you just said, I'm telling you, it's going to happen. And that seemed pretty outlandish. And then it happened. And you said, told you. About a decade later, this Brady guy. And I said, I'm telling you, folks, he's going to Tampa. And he was still playing with the Patriots. And I said, he's going to Tampa. Here's why. And that was crazy. And he went to Tampa. And every now and then, Miller and Moulton just have our own version of the tea leaves, and we end up right. Often we end up wrong. LeBron's going back to Cleveland. Everybody says he's going to Golden State. Here's why he's going back to Cleveland. Harden didn't sign his 1-year extension and he hasn't signed his 3-year extension, which is on the table. Why? Because the Cavs have asked him not to. Can you hold off? We got a real chance to get LeBron here. We want as much cap freedom as possible. You're our own free agent. That counts differently. Can you just hold off? And James Harden, who's very selfish, said, for LeBron, sure, absolutely. Give me a call when you're ready for me to sign. LeBron is talking about going to Golden State with Anthony Davis. Golden State needs Anthony Davis. You know who doesn't need Anthony Davis? The Cleveland Cavaliers. In fact, Cleveland's got 2 big guys. They may have to trade one of them just to round out their team or just to help them financially. The reason that's significant is Anthony Davis is a member of the Washington Wizards. And the Wizards came out yesterday and said, we have no interest in trading Anthony Davis. And we're not just saying this to drive up his price. No, we're tired of losing. We just signed Trae Young to a big deal. We got Anthony Davis under contract. And when healthy, he's an elite big in this league. We got a lottery pick from last year who is a good player. And we got a ton of cap space. And we just drafted a couple guys also, including the number 1 pick of the draft. So, no, we're tired of sucking. We're tired of losing. No, we're keeping Anthony Davis. Mark, follow Anthony Davis. If Washington was serious, and, Anthony Davis, I'm sure behind the scenes, is trying to lay one thick on Washington going, I'm going to be a dog. You want to get rid of me? Because my guess is LeBron's first choice is Golden State. He stays out in California. He can play his golf pretty much year round. And apparently he's become obsessed with the sport. Him and Steph can play every day. Him and Steph have talked about playing together the way him and D Wade talked about playing together 15 years earlier. So I do think his number 1 choice, Mark, is Golden State. But if Anthony Davis is unavailable, the Warriors are screwed because LeBron knows that team can't win. Got no chance of winning. It's way too small. Never mind how old it's going to be. But it's way too small. You know what he could do in Cleveland? He can win. Oh, can he win? I'll bet you
they're already a top 3 team in the East without him. I mean, that's the thing. Now, they may, like you said, they may have to get rid of a player to get LeBron in, but they're already a top 3 team in the East. That's when I've been discussing the Heat and getting Giannis. To me, they're no better than the 4th best team in the East right now. And I think that's pushing it. So if Cleveland gets LeBron, they're, can the Knicks do what they did last year? We'll see. They're still, to me, the best team. Boston, we don't know what they're doing with Jaylen Brown. So what are the Celtics? The Pistons need another scorer. I mean,
one. Yep. Okay, but he could win in Cleveland. The East is very doable. Very doable. The East is a bunch of 50-win teams. Detroit overachieved in 62, 3, 4, whatever they won. But the East is a bunch of 50 to 54-win teams. This ain't the West. So I say follow Anthony Davis. If all of a sudden Washington is entertaining trade talks for Anthony Davis, then he's going to Golden State. But I actually think Washington's serious. I said so back at the All-Star break when they made these deals. I said, look out. Okay, they're putting a team together for next year. Look out.
And David was so into the Washington Wizards that he did something that I'm still upset with him about. He booked a Washington Wizards guest who then blew us off.
Right.
He didn't mean to. He made a mistake and apologized. I'm just kidding on that last part, but not the first part. David, on purpose, booked a Washington Wizards guest for this show.
And Mark,
think about that.
Mark
Think about, we don't even talk the NBA on this show, and he booked a Washington Wizards guest.
And when that guest blew us off, the eaten grin on Mark Miller's face was the biggest of all time. He thought it was the broadcast gods all getting together, sitting down at the table going, we got to hammer Moulton. Did you see what he did to Miller? Did you see what he tried to do to
Miller? A Baltimore Orioles guest than a Washington Wizards guest.
So Anthony Davis is the key, which, by the way, go back to the trade. And everybody tried to say that LeBron, had it in for Davis and didn't like him and this, that, and the other thing. When, in fact, the Lakers knew they were so tight, they couldn't tell LeBron or else the word would get out. Right. And now here's LeBron saying goodbye to the Lakers. And what's the first thing he wants to do? Reunite with Anthony Davis and go play at Golden State. So follow Anthony Davis. I think he stays in Washington. LeBron ends up in Cleveland.
David, a couple of things I got to get to before the break. Glenn Davis coming up to talk U.S. men's national team in about 10 minutes. But one for me and one for your mom. Sad news for your mom. You may not know the name, but Victor Willis has passed away. Victor Willis at 74 died, according to a post from his family. He was the singer of the Village People. The lead singer of the Village People, gone far too soon. And secondly, there's something monumental about to happen in the next 30 minutes in the Miller household. My daughter's making me breakfast.
Whoa!
I'm very excited. A lot of pressure on her. I got to help a little bit. So during the break, I got to get a couple things ready for her. But she's making me breakfast. I will critique in the pro hour.
Oh, you gotta lie. Whatever. It's excellent. You got to encourage her to do it again. This is going to be outstanding. One of the 3 best breakfasts of your life.
We are making huge strides. She's shutting her door to the world, but yet when she wakes up, she's making me breakfast. Glenn Davis to talk men's national team next. Go!
This summer, there's only one place to experience the roar of the World Cup at the British Open Pub in Bonita Springs, your World Cup headquarters, where the team is bringing every match live, full sound on every TV across the patio with daily food and drink specials from the opening match on June 11th through the final on July 19th. Catch the electric atmosphere for every England and USA match and all the matches in between at the British Open Pub, Bonita Springs, at the shops of Pelican Landing, where the World Cup comes alive.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512. Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and
The
sound.
Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Good morning, Glenn.
Good morning, Mark.
How are you?
I am good. I'm good. I'm enjoying the World Cup. How about you?
I have enjoyed the heck out of it. I was the biggest pessimist heading into group stage because of the increase in teams, and you kind of looked at it and like, well, we know who's going to advance. And I'm a soccer novice at best, but to me, the soccer's been terrific.
It really has. I was concerned about. I didn't like the expansion of the World Cup so much, but it's turned out to be very exciting, and now we're into the games that have consequence.
Right. And as you mentioned the last time we had you on, these African nations doing things that no one expected. Just the way as a country we've looked has been, who knew it took all these Europeans coming to America for Americans to feel better about themselves?
I got news for you. I didn't feel bad about myself. I'm just tired of all the negativity. I'm glad to see, the hospitality that the country's showing to people. There's some amazing stories down here.
There are. They've been incredible. I'm totally with you. It's just been, yeah, it does.
It just feels good and prideful, and there's nothing better than getting testimony from the people that are coming here. And it's hilarious. We had that Dutch march here, and they're all rating. They love burgers, and it's just incredible.
Other than a guy who makes fun of people who use ranch dressing all the time, I've looked bad in that regard, but I'll take it.
Yeah, the ranch dressing's a big hit. That's right.
A huge hit, right?
I forgot it. Good morning, David.
Good morning, Glenn.
How are you?
I'm hanging in there this morning.
Good.
Fired up for today and tonight.
Yeah, today's a good day of games, and I want to see the U.S. get the business done for sure. Mexico got it done last night. They looked better than I've seen them.
Yeah, you were. I don't want to say negative, but you were not thinking they
I
looked.
I wasn't convinced for sure, and I don't think a lot of people were. But I am cognizant of the fact that these teams can change into something, and especially down there.
Right.
And even the Mexican fans were very pessimistic about their national team. And, now all of a sudden they look a different beast.
No doubt.
And that's crazy. Yeah. I hope I didn't come off totally negative, but
no. You just
I was not high on Mexico, but I don't think anybody was. And I watched their games. It was only off me watching their games. They look stale. They have a recycled coach again, the same guy 3 times.
Here we go.
Okay. Yeah. Why don't we?
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour. He's been our soccer guy for a long time. Based out of Houston. Was associated with the MLS team for a long time. Host of Soccer Matters. Former pro. He's been broadcasting some of the World Cup on the international feeds. He's Glenn Davis. Follow him on X, and I'll get it right this time. Glenn Davis Soc, S-O-C. I don't know why I added an extra C, but I did. I apologize, Glenn. Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing great. Excited for what could unfold here today in the World Cup, Mark and David, and thanks for having me on the show as always. I always enjoy the visit.
All right. We are all now soccer experts after the past couple of weeks. We now feel like we can talk to you with more accuracy than ever before. I joke, but David and I have jumped all into this tournament. It has been fabulous. But everything, all the positivity that has happened through the group stage, through the past couple of days, could be for naught if the U.S. doesn't win today. Will they be able to play the style that, and I know they lost to Turkey, but they still played an aggressive style. When you get into the knockout stage, teams defend differently. How different will today be for the men's national team?
Well, because they have an opponent that feels they have the opportunity in a essentially a single elimination game to advance in the tournament. They want to win as badly as the United States does. They're playing for their countrymen. They're playing for their flag. They're playing for that nationalistic pride. So, yeah, you have to be careful. Bosnia will defend like animals in a low block. The United States, I believe, is going to come out exactly how they did in the opening game, and that is with real aggression and real intent, and not sitting back to survive. They're here to win the game and go after the game. The one thing I would say to that is that we're in a unique position that we've never been in before. We went into the third game already winning the group. It's never happened before. The third game was kind of a champagne problem. Yes, you had yellow cards. Yes, you had to change out a lot of guys. Yes, you gave up a late goal and lost. But you went in on your own terms. And I think the players are chomping at the bit, but they've got to remain aggressive. If you watch the Netherlands game, Ronald Koeman changed their entire identity to a deeper defending team. It was very un-Dutch-like, and it was costly.
All right. Heading into the first match against Australia, we said, we think the U.S. is better. Are they? And you said yes, and they'll prove it. How much better is the U.S. than Bosnia? Like, is Bosnia equal to anyone that we just played in group?
I would kind of put them like Australia. Tough defending, physical. They're going to play in transition. They're going to lay deep. They're going to challenge the U.S. to break them down, much like Paraguay. And by the way, after the U.S. beat Paraguay, remember everybody, Paraguay is not a very, very good team. Well, they knocked Germany out, and they proved to you that they're an excellent defending team. And we basically won that game against Paraguay in the first half, right? I mean, that was an unbelievable start. It's the best 45 minutes we've ever seen a U.S. national team play. That said, that's over and done with, but it's a very similar team in Bosnia that will play against the U.S., and I kind of liken them to Paraguay and Australia in that they're going to defend deeper and try to hit the U.S. in transition or on set pieces, corners, free kicks.
Okay, if there has been a weakness to this U.S. team, it is on the back line. And you talk about the transition game. If Bosnia is going to play that defensive style and we are going to do what we've been doing, which has been an attacking team, and man, it's been fun to watch. How much pressure does that put on our back line in transition? How ready should the guys like Richards, and I think Robinson's the other one that I love watching play, how important is the game to players like that today?
Very, very important. I think they're very cognizant of the transition game. Starting positions, it's a mental test. If you've got 60% of the ball or 65% of the ball, which I believe the U.S. will have for large portions of this game, for a defender, it's starting positions, it's remaining aware, it's remaining connected to the game, so that the moment the ball turns over, you're in good starting points to defend an opponent breaking out. Now, the other thing is you want to get immediate pressure on the ball so they can't hit a long ball right away, right? Force them to play wide or backwards. So there's a lot of things that go into that. Every time there's a goal scored in transition, you can look back and go, wow, they didn't get pressure on the ball quick enough, or positionally they got caught. We saw Mexico score one last night with Julian Quinones, a great goal. And he's a real threat in transition. And that shows you how dangerous and how quickly these things can happen. But Chris Richards is huge in this. Tyler Adams is a very, very big piece in suffocating and killing off counterattacks. He's exceptional at it. He's mobile. He can go right and left. Anthony Robinson may have to be a little bit more careful with Tim Ream on his side of the field. So it's all hands on deck and a lot of alertness, though, when the ball is lost. But I think the U.S. is up to that task.
Do you think that anybody in the third match played their way into more playing time, played their way into maybe a substitution that wasn't made in the first two games?
I think there were players. I think it was, number one, great. You make 9 changes. I mean, you can't expect it to be cohesive, right? I think the best thing that came out of that is they remained aggressive and fought. Some players scored World Cup goals. People got minutes. They feel a part of it. And I think a coach is able to look at the players in that game and say, okay, I can depend on them. But I think from an overall roster perspective, it's good. So who would I think? Obviously Sebastian Berhalter has been a guy that has really grown his career and grown in this World Cup, scored a great goal. But it's not easy. I've tried to repeat this to people. If you're a substitute and you're being brought into a game where the core of your team is intact, right? That's more favorable than going into a game with 9 other guys, right, that are making a change that you probably haven't played with. So I think you got to factor that in a little bit. I think we learned that Tim Weah does not look very good right now. I don't know where that puts him in the standing in the mind of Mauricio Pochettino. He was a starter in the last World Cup. He had a rough game. I think you realize that Gio Reyna's best asset is likely going to be off the bench later in games. Although, again, he's the kind of player that has to have a core of guys around him. So I think they learned a lot, but I think it's onward and upward. It's all about winning today. And if you don't win today, the judgment and the knives will come out, because it doesn't matter what you've done up to this point. It's all about advancing now, and the other 2 host nations have done it.
No doubt. No doubt. And, what I've seen so far in the knockout round, and Brazil was able to come back against Japan. Germany was not able. Paraguay scored early. Japan scored early. The Netherlands had the lead, ended up losing it to Morocco. I'm curious because we've not really, the U.S. has come out and they've scored early in all these games. What happens if they don't, Glenn?
Hey, look, you got to win in a lot of different ways. Everything's not going to go perfect for you. That's the perfect thing you want to do, is to score first against a low defending team, because that means they have to come out and play, and now space opens up a little bit more. You'll get opportunities in transition and on the counterattack. First and foremost thing is you always hope to get the game's first goal against these low block teams, because if you don't, they could morph into something that's even bigger, grow a couple of inches, and make it a very complicated day. Now, I did that Brazil-Japan game in Houston. It was a spectacular environment, and Japan was just incredible in the first half with their low block defending. They didn't concede space. Their goalkeeper came up with a couple of great saves, and then they score a goal on a unforced error, a great goal, and they're up at halftime. But the Japanese are something, because they have these elements of their game that are really in place. Now, they are going away from the tournament, though, only winning 1 game, and they're going to go back to Japan now, and they have to figure out how to add more transitional moments, more chance creation to this great structure and discipline that they have. So we'll see where that goes. But, back to playing against these lower defending teams, it's not easy. And you saw that Brazil had to come to life in the second half through Vinny Jr. He got them going, and they came back. But they won the game on a repress, winning the ball close to the goal. They didn't win it on a 7-pass sequence. They won it on a repress, and that's how a lot of the goals are coming in this tournament.
Glenn Davis, Soccer Matters. Glenn Davis, SOC on X. He's been calling some of the World Cup on the international feed, and has certainly taken in a lot of the World Cup teams in the run-up, based out of Houston. All right, how much trouble is England in today at noon against Congo? Short turnaround if they win. Mexico in Mexico City, where, let's face it, even bad Mexico teams don't normally lose. And England has to overcome the World Cup demons. The last time they were in Mexico City was the hand of God goal in 86. How these next 72, 100 hours for England seem as if the soccer gods have kind of lined up to make it pretty hard for them.
Yeah, I would agree. And I did Congo's game in Houston when they played Portugal. They're big, they're physical, they're guys that play on clubs in good leagues all over the world. People think, they look at the Congo and they go, oh, these guys playing in Congo. Well, no, they're European. They're in Europe. It's a very different thing. big, physical. Again, another low block defending team that don't concede a lot of space. They cut off passing lanes. They challenge you to beat them. And they went down to Portugal, came out of their shell, tied the game up at halftime, then dropped back in their shell. I was very impressed with their tactical discipline. They are going to be a problem today for England. And I would not be surprised if they get a result against England and potentially move on, because this is a tough game. You mentioned all the things about England and Mexico. They got first to deal with Congo before even thinking about getting down to Mexico, and they know it. And they started the tournament off in a big way, like the U.S., great attacking soccer. This is a different England, and all of a sudden it's gone back to the pragmatic, conservative, what type of England are we? And I think it's created a lot of nervousness amongst their fan base.
You were excited after the first U.S. game because of how they attacked on each side. And Pulisic was terrific in that game. I think the health should be back now. When you talk about these low block defending teams, that to me, again, the soccer novice, means Pulisic's got to be able to do what he did against Paraguay, split a couple of guys, make things happen on the outside, defeat, whether he scores or not. He's got to be creative offensively to me. Is that accurate, Glenn?
Absolutely. I mean, individuals are the greatest thing that can wreck tactics. Okay, let's face it. That the individual player remains the best tactic buster out there. Okay, I mean, we can talk about all these other things, but just look at the individuals on France and how they break things down. Well, we have our guy in Pulisic. Serginho Dest being pushed higher up the field on the other side by Pochettino was a stroke of brilliance, in my opinion. But you got to move the ball very, very quickly. If you get into laboring and playing passes slow, it's easy for them to adjust. Ball has to be circulated quickly. You got to play with energy. You got to keep trying to lift the tempo. You got to shoot from longer range. You got to get width. All these different things can potentially pull apart a low block defending team. But you got to go with energy. If you get seduced into playing the game slow, all of a sudden you're in the 65th, 70th minute, 75th minute, and you're like, wow, we're struggling here. So that high tempo energy. But it does come down to individuals, and that's why it's so important that Christian Pulisic is on the field.
Glenn Davis, Soccer Matters is the podcast. Follow him on X at Glenn Davis Soc, SOC. Glenn, we appreciate your time and your insight always. Enjoy the matches, and hopefully the home team is still something we can talk about next week.
I'm optimistic. I think we're all pretty optimistic, and this is, again, none of it's going to be easy from here on out, but you have to be optimistic, and I certainly am, and I'm looking forward to today. David, Mark, thanks for having me on.
Glenn Davis, kind enough to join us once again. If the U.S. wins tonight, I believe they're scheduled to play Sunday night. That's why making it to next week, I believe next week's the quarterfinals.
So U.S. in Bosnia tonight, 8 o'clock. The winner plays the winner of Belgium and Senegal. That game's at 4 o'clock today. And then July 6th will be the game. So Monday will be our next game. Miller and Moulton, the Pro Hour on the other side, and my daughter's first attempt at making me breakfast. Oh, boy. No!
This summer, there's only one place to experience the roar of the World Cup at the British Open Pub in Bonita Springs, your World Cup headquarters, where the team is bringing every match live, full sound on every TV across the patio with daily food and drink specials from the opening match on June 11th through the final on July 19th. Catch the electric atmosphere for every England and USA match and all the matches in between at the British Open Pub, Bonita Springs, at the shops of Pelican Landing, where the World Cup comes alive. Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in. 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. capecops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
If you're a business who targets men, please know there is no better and more economical way to reach your target audience than us at Miller & Moulton. So let us help you make money. You can reach out to Mark at that Mark Miller or me at the David Moulton on X, or text us at 21,000. We have a proven product, a good reputation, and lots of quality segments that we can attach your company's name to. Miller & Moulton, we're like that old pizza box. You've had the rest. Now try the best. Miller & Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
This is Miller and Moulton.
No doubt, Javier. We do have Canada, Morocco on the 4th of July, for what it's worth, and France, Paraguay. Is that another one? Have I always just said it wrong, saying Paraguay? Now it's Paraguay. I'm having trouble here. I really am. It's tough enough trying to figure out all these damn European nations that ironically my daughter all knows because she went to school when they were all nations. It's very confusing. Very confusing, everybody. What do you want? Hmm?
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
It is the bonus hour, the pro hour. It is the first such hour of July. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X on this hump day. Thanks for being with us. Big soccer today and tonight for our friends at the British Open Pub. Okay, big day and night today, boys. Britain at noon, USA at 8. Good luck.
By the way, that England, if England wins, that England-Mexico match is Sunday prime time, 8 p.m. on Sunday night. That'll be a fun watch. That really will. That I would think around Florida, Tampa, Jacksonville, Southwest Florida. Obviously, there's a huge Mexican contingent everywhere in our state, but there's a decent English contingent everywhere in our state as well. So I would imagine for a Sunday night, put it this way, David, if I were able to imbibe, which I am not right now, I would think it would be as good of a go night on a Sunday in non-football season as we would ever get.
Agreed.
And I think I'd rather watch the game, even though they would all be speaking Spanish. I think it might be more fun with the Mexican fans. No offense to my buddies at the British Open Pub. They're a bunch of negative Nancys when it comes to watching soccer.
Well, 60 years. That's why.
I got you.
It's not going to work out. They've now been trained. It's not going to work out. And it's going to take a special team with a special group of men to finally get it done to overcome all of the negativeness that's around them. But yes, my apologies. I was a day off. Okay, Mexico, if it is England, will be Sunday, and the U.S. against the winner of Belgium, Senegal, is actually Monday night.
And by the way, we got a text, David, asking what is low block. And it's basically keeping all your defenders in or near the penalty area. Okay, that is the defensive tactic where everybody plays low, where you don't defend up high. You just kind of, everybody's caved in. It's, for you hockey guys out there, it's the 5 guys that are just all right around the front of the net. Yep. That's as good as I can do for you.
And all the shots come from the boards and from the point and the blue line. And then in theory, with the 5 guys around the net, they'll get to any rebounds and clear it away.
And in soccer, you're trying not to allow anybody in the area and block every shot. That would be the biggest similarity to me. A lot of shot blocking. It's where we've talked about some of these games, and even, with Germany losing, they fired a lot of shots. Not many got through.
Right.
So it will be interesting today. And I thought the point Glenn made specifically about the England game, and it really applies to both. If all of a sudden you're sitting there, minute 65, and it's 0-0, no, I'm not going 0-0. I'm not going to do it to you. Not going to act like I know what I'm talking about. But that will make both fan bases incredibly nervous.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That second water break and it's tied. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, mom's going to be pulling the orange slices out for the players during that second water break. She's going to be yelling at the coach. Oh, telling you right now, it's going to look like a travel soccer game. Too many coaches. That's what happens when you get 0-0 during the second water break. Mom might not even want to get out the orange slices for the players.
Might just want to start coaching.
Exactly.
Uh-oh.
Exactly. So, lot of soccer today. We've talked a little bit of baseball, but I am just cracking up at the fact that here we are in Florida, football country. And I know we've had spring training here forever, but by and large, they didn't have pro teams forever. The Marlins and the Rays. The Marlins tied for the last wild card spot. The Rays leading the money division in the sport. The Rays that spend 40 cents on their roster with a better record than the Yankees, the Red Sox, and the Blue Jays. Okay.
And record in the American League.
Yeah. Talking to a Yankees fan yesterday, and it's like, he even said, he goes, what? So Judge is coming back in August? Maybe. So when's he judge? If he comes back in August, David, second week in August, he's not judged until the first week of September, right? I mean, you know what I mean? It's going to take a little while to get his groove on, like Stella. Just making sure you're paying attention over there.
I am.
I know it's a tough one today, but and we were talking about, because I asked him, he's a good baseball fan and he knows the sport really well. And I'm like, I know the Yankees have all kinds of pitching. Would they want to get a Skubal? And he's like, you can't say no. He goes, but I don't know if the Steinbrenners would rent him. He mentioned that Arise is someone that the Yankees could be after. And that's interesting. One, where do you put him in the lineup? Do you put him 1 to set up Judge, or do you put him 9 to turn the roster over, if you know what I mean?
Yeah, I put him 1. He'll get nothing but fastballs, and he's won, 3 batting titles? Okay, that's when he didn't know what was coming. And he'll know what's coming if he's hitting leadoff.
So we don't know about Stanton when he comes back, but Judge will be back. Will Goldschmidt have the September like he did last year, or we continue on the way he's hitting this year? I don't know. But you talked about the Rays at length, and this is the year to make a move. Shouldn't the Yankees be thinking the same damn way?
I think the Yankees believe they're the best team in the league if they could just get healthy. I think they feel they've already proven that when healthy, they're the best team.
Okay. But is that good enough to win the last game of the season, if you know what I mean?
Don't know, but I don't think Cashman and this Steinbrenner operate the way they used to. So, no, I mean, I think you could argue that there's 2 to 4 teams in the National League that are better. Is anybody paying attention to interleague play? The National League is destroying the American League. Destroying the American League in interleague play.
And they have 11 teams over 500 in the National League, and there's 6 in the American League. And by the way, congratulations, American League. With both Seattle and the Rangers winning, they now have 6 teams above 500. But be careful. Cleveland now just 2 games above the Mendoza line. So you have Cleveland and Texas at 44 and 42, and the Mariners at 44 and 43. The Astros are 2 games below 500, And David, they're talking about being sellers.
Well, they were, but now I don't know if you can.
I agree.
But if I were them, and I was asked this question 3 weeks ago on this show and said, oh, I'm selling if I'm Houston. And now they're getting people back. They started winning games, and their division's not very good.
And who's the most talented team when healthy in that division? Is it Seattle or is it Houston?
I think it's Seattle.
Close.
Yeah, I don't know how Houston's doing it, to be brutally honest. With their injuries, with the guys that weren't performing. But, man, they know how to win in the clutch.
But, I mean, when you talk about talent in Seattle, you talk about Cal Raleigh. Do you know what he's hitting this year?
Oh, I think he's hitting in the 100s.
164.
Yeah.
164. He has 8 home runs. We're halfway through the year.
Well, Mark, we often talk about it in either the NBA or the NHL, but don't you look at the American League and feel that it's the general manager's league?
100%.
That a GM can win the pennant. And we said last year that some GMs needed to step up. Well, Seattle's GM stepped up, and it was big. All right. They nearly went to the World Series because of it.
Yep, and Detroit's GM didn't.
Yeah. And the Yankees GM didn't, by the way.
Right.
And took heat for it.
The Blue Jays ended up, I don't know how much the GM did. They end up, he did because of their draft pick, because all of a sudden here comes Yusevich, the college kid, and he ends up being a significant part of their postseason run. And they're another team I can't figure out. Every time that, they've gotten right close to 500 a couple of times, and they go into the tank for another week.
Well, losing 6 in a row and 7 of 8, they're 6 below 500. I mean, do the math. Forget interleague play. Then they have to play the games within their division. Now, you could argue maybe they're catching a break this year, having to play the division games as opposed to even other divisions. But yes, I don't know what's going on with Toronto. But then again, you talk about Cal Raleigh hitting a $161. Doesn't Vlad Jr. have 4 homers?
He's in single digits, in low single digits, right?
It's July. What the heck? $500 million guy. He's got 4 home runs. They knew losing Bo Bichette would be a bummer. They didn't realize that they'd lose Vlad Guerrero Jr. too. I mean, my goodness.
So you're right. And, you're a Twins guy. You spent time in that part of the world. Buxton apparently is not getting traded.
No.
Are we just going to keep on keeping on with that?
Well, they've cut just about everybody they can cut from the payroll, to be honest.
I don't want to get traded. And I'm sorry.
He said it, though, for years. He has said, I want to be a Twin for life, and he's got a no-trade clause. I mean, he can be, if he wants to, he can be a Twin for life. And he has said to management, I ain't going to let you trade me. So, unless it changes.
Miller and Moulton, the Pro Hour in Jacksonville and Tampa. A little baseball talk before we get ready for a huge day of soccer in the World Cup.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. FloorMeisters.com. CCC 1332512.
Floor Meisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floor Meisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
No! This summer, there's only one place to experience the roar of the World Cup at the British Open Pub in Bonita Springs, your World Cup headquarters, where the team is bringing every match live, full sound on every TV across the patio, with daily food and drink specials from the opening match on June 11th through the final on July 19th. Catch the electric atmosphere for every England and USA match and all the matches in between at the British Open Pub, Bonita Springs, at the shops of Pelican Landing, where the World Cup comes alive.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Javier, that's one of the funny. If people didn't get that, that's on them. But that's one of the funniest things you've ever typed. Well, unfortunately, Tim, I don't think the Marlins and Rays are going to do much at the deadline. That's my. I would love to get into it. I mean, but do you, of those two teams, I think the Rays are more likely to make a move to get better, but I think it's a subtle move. Maybe a bullpen arm or something like that. I don't. The Yankees could go after Trout if the Phillies don't. I mean, the Yankees could do all kinds of things if they want to. When you've got two teams that are spending, 29th and 30th in the league, if it's not lower than, 28th and 29th, it's tough to talk trade deadline stuff with two teams that are more than likely, in the Marlins case, more likely to be a seller. I mean, if I'm wrong, you please let me know. But I just. Unfortunately, to me, the Yanks are more interesting with what they do or don't do. I don't expect the Rays to do anything, not anything big. I mean, Javier, you really got to hope your staff's a little more Central American on Sunday. I mean, you got to plan accordingly. There's a great video, by the way, of a Mexican soccer fan basically in the front row of the Dodger game last night going nuts when Mexico scores. I don't know if he's watching on his phone or listening, but he's standing up cheering while nothing's going on at the baseball game. It's sensational. Look at this. Look at this. Thank you, sweetheart. It's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. It's exactly how I want it. Look at this. Scrambled eggs, homemade sausage. Homemade bread. I'd even tip. That's good enough to get a tip.
Tim, there's more Yankees fans in Florida than Rays and Marlins fans combined.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour in our pro hour on in Jacksonville, Tampa, St. Pete. A few other areas, millerandmoulton.com. Download what you missed. Like Armando, Velez, Seth, Everett, and Glenn Davis talking Florida Panthers, all sorts of things, and soccer. How was breakfast?
It's right here. It's phenomenal. I mean, she did an exceptional job.
Is she near you, or is
No, she's back downstairs.
Okay.
Very much a teenager in progress because I could hear her on her phone the entire time she was making breakfast. So she's able to multitask. It's a good thing.
Okay.
But she is what she doesn't realize by doing this, she might be obligated for the rest of summer.
Ooh.
I may have a short order cook on my hands.
Ooh. Obligated, or maybe certain days of the week, maybe.
Monday through Friday, if you're talking about certain days of the week, yes.
I was thinking more like one or two, but okay.
Well, here's the thing. Right now, she likes doing, we haven't gotten to the point. This is where the trickery works. She's just learned how to cook a few things. It's new. She's having fun. And I haven't, now, if I go downstairs and I see that the dishes are also done and not just soaking in hot water, we've hit a home run. But the odds are, before I put the 4th hour podcast up, David, I'll have to do the pans, but we shall see.
Okay. But wow, I mean, a triple's impressive enough, but if this is walk the guy in front of you and make him pay with a homer, that would be something.
So, little breakfast this morning, daughter cooking for me. This summer break's working out great for her father. I like that. But soccer today, England, the biggest favorite on the board. The Senegal-Belgium game is next. That's the 4:00 game. The winner of that game plays the U.S.-Bosnia winner. And Senegal has a real shot. Both teams are plus money. So you're actually, to me, getting good odds on Belgium because they had a lousy group. They underachieved in group by their quality of play. So at plus 125, that's far better odds than you would have been able to get on this before the World Cup started, if you know what I mean.
Right.
So we shall see what happens in that game, but it's all about the U.S. tonight, 8:00. I think you've said Big Fox a couple times. I think we're Big Fox from here on out, right?
I
I
think
don't
so.
think anything's on FS1 the rest of the way.
I don't think so.
Because that was only some lousy group games in the group stage that went to FS1. And some of those late night games that for whatever reason they felt the need to start games at midnight or 11 p.m. Eastern time out west.
Well, and last weekend, ESPN took a Yankees-Red Sox game and aired it Saturday at 1. And NBC obviously had Yankees-Red Sox Sunday night. So, the other networks who are in on the baseball contract helping Fox out, if you will, by showing some baseball, because I don't know if on the weekend that Fox has to move a match, or are they going to move the soccer up or the baseball up? I don't know if baseball conflicts with any of the World Cup.
But we could end up on Sunday with England and Mexico. Saturday we get Canada, Morocco. So as you're grilling hot dogs and getting ready to blow things up, I did neglect the show today. I've had some American-esque poll questions the last couple days, and it kind of slipped my mind this morning with what we had as a really good show today. But yesterday it was funny because we had the poll question of what food is most American. Barbecue won on the X page. Hamburger won going away among the Twitch and YouTube listeners. So I'm hoping everybody's getting themselves set for the weekend with whatever they may be doing. One of those rough, work. I'm hoping you're getting Friday off, but I'm guessing most of you are going to have to take extra days to get the long weekend. That, unless you work at a bank or a government building, it's probably on you to take a vacation day. Although I noticed making a couple of sales calls yesterday, some places are just shut down for the week. Been talking to a guy, and I went to follow up yesterday, and guy answered the phone. He's gone. No one's here this week. We're closed. I'm like, oh, good for you. I like your style. And a couple of reply emails that bounced right back saying, yeah, we'll be back on the 6th. Okay. I get it. This is usually the week that I take off as well. But, I had a little time away from home, and the wife took most of her vacation taking care of me in February, March, and April. So vacation for the Miller house will be next year. And I'm so gung-ho, I'm already planning it. But that's how I roll.
By the way, Algeria, Switzerland tomorrow night, FS1. I mean, it's at 11 o'clock at night, but Algeria, Switzerland tomorrow night at 11 on FS1. But it looks as if every match before it and after it for the rest of the tournament's on Big Fox.
So there you go. And we've got a couple of weeks before we get to the British Open.
Yes.
And was talking with another golf fan yesterday. I'll be curious today because I'm going to play and I'll talk to all my golf buddies. But in talking with him, he admitted, he's like, Rory got this right when talking about the Challenger and Champions Tour. If you look at the best players, they're not playing more than 12, 14 events. What makes anybody think when they go to a 19, it's basically 19 events on this top level of the PGA Tour, because it says 24, but 4 are majors and the other one's the Ryder or the President's Cup. Okay. So they're all going to play in the 4 majors. How many more times are these guys going to play out of the 19 scheduled events a year? Realistically, 10? I'm not kidding here.
Well,
you see them 10 times?
Normally, in the last 30 years, really going back 40 years, go back to Seve, the top golfers wanted to play 15 to 18 events a year. 4 majors and the players, there's 5 of them right there.
Right.
You're playing 10 to 13 other events.
And I think that number is down now from Seve, David.
Well, it can't be. See, what's interesting is Rory's actually about to violate the central rule that makes up the PGA Tour. I mean, Seve got suspended in the late 80s when he was the number one golfer in the world. Seve got suspended from the PGA Tour for a year because he only played 14 events, and the bare minimum was 15. To keep your tour card, you had to play 15, and they wouldn't even make an exception for Seve, who was playing full-time on the European Tour. Well, Rory's not going to play 15 events this year, Mark.
No, he's not. Bob Herrick just wrote a great article about this on his new Substack. Rory, however, has lifetime membership because he's won so many events. And he also calls England home and the DP Tour his main tour. So there's some gray area here of what the PGA Tour will do. I dare the PGA Tour to kick Rory off.
Well,
I dare them.
So's Rory. Rory's already indicated, I'm not changing my schedule. What Rory doesn't like, though, is he's big on these national opens now, like the Canadian Open. He wants to play in all of them. Well, they're threatening to put a couple of them on the Challenge Tour, which means by bylaws, he can't even play them in the future.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Floor Meisters just doesn't sell CoreTech and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floor Meisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. capecops.com. Be brave, be best. Be Cape.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Big OC, that's awesome, my man. Are you doing it to drop some pounds just to stay healthy? 7 miles is impressive, my man. By the way, she was downstairs doing dishes. I know it's not going to last, but I'm going to enjoy it while I can.
Ooh.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes till we're out of here. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Mark, another correction. This one on me. There are 2 matches on FS1. The 4 o'clock match today is on FS1. Belgium, Senegal. Maybe I got to stop doing this at 2 in the morning.
Fair enough. I mean, in fact, knock that out during the Belgium-Senegal match. That'd be my plan. You'll only have one eye on it.
So Belgium, Senegal today, FS1 at 4. And tomorrow night at 11 o'clock, a Switzerland-Austria match is on. And apparently every other World Cup match is a Fox deal. Speaking of the World Cup, this is the last World Cup that Fox has rights to. They own like international soccer through 2029. But also, is it Netflix or one of the streamers that got the next 2 Women's World Cups? So FIFA got about $500 million a year from Fox to do all the stuff they were doing, not just including World Cup years. With the ratings that they're getting this time around and the interest and all that, now, I think the next 2 World Cups, one of them's in Saudi Arabia, and I don't know where the other one is. But, Mark, the thought is that if Fox can't get something done here quickly, that Fox is probably at the biggest disadvantage because everybody else is going to have more money. And FIFA loves the fact that the streamers are worldwide.
Spain, Portugal, Morocco is hosting the next World Cup. And then Saudi Arabia in 2034.
It's that time again, nearing the end, but not quite there yet. Here's Mark Miller with Today Was the Day When.
All right. Where do we start today? Oh, we start today in 1836. Where else would we start? President Andrew Jackson tells Congress that James Smithson gave 100,000 gold sovereigns to found the Smithsonian in Washington. The first postage stamps go on sale today in 1847. There was the 5-cent Franklin stamp and the 10-cent Washington stamp. Today in 1858, oh boy, were people upset. Darwin and Alfred Russel Wallace did a joint reading on the papers of evolution, renders the audience awestruck and silent. I could see how that would be the case. Battle of Gettysburg began today in 1863, where the Union halt General Robert E. Lee's Confederate Army. 1867, it's why it's Canada Day. The Dominion of Canada is formed, comprising the provinces of New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, Ontario, and Quebec, with John A. Macdonald serving as the first prime minister. 1873, Henry Orison Flipper of Georgia enters West Point. He would become the first African American to graduate at West Point. 1904, the first Olympic Games held in the States. St. Louis, the host. Today in 1908, SOS becomes the worldwide standard for help. Without it, what the hell would Sting have said? What would he have been sending out? I have no idea. The big battle in World War I, the Battle of Somme, today in 1916. The British Army suffers its worst day. They lost over 19,000 men. Also today in 1916, the first of 4 fatal shark attacks in New Jersey. That challenged the previous belief that sharks never harm humans and sparking popular fear over sharks, which still persists today. Do you know why? Because they eat people.
And because it's their water.
Damn right. 1920. Washington Senators pitching legend Walter Johnson throws a no-hitter at Fenway. David, it was the only no-hitter of his career. Joe D. tied Wee Willie Keeler's 44-game hit streak today in 1941 in a win over the Red Sox. Obviously, he would go on to the record of 56. The first superstar returned from World War II today in 1945. Hank Greenberg. And like any superstar should do, in his first game back, he went yard. The Tigers would beat the A's 9-5. Happy birthday zip codes. They were introduced to United States mail today 63 years ago. It's amazing that, to me, that was something that would have been longer than 63 years. Like, that seems like, how the hell did we get mail to work before 1963? Must have taken forever. Like, seriously.
For pennies.
Right. Today in 67, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Heart Club Band. The album goes number 1 in the States. It would stay there for 15 weeks. Today in 1979, the Sony Walkman debuts. Without that, I don't know what Morrissey would have used in Big Mouth Strikes Again. So there you have it. You know, I've been able to get the Police and the Smiths in today win. Ripken made his first start today in 82. He'd do it another 2,215 times. Today in 97, the Nevada Athletic Commission suspends Mike Tyson indefinitely and withholds his $20 million purse for biting Evander Holyfield's ear. It was in the third round, and I know that because I had Holyfield in 3 in the pool. S.D. Lauder, Sidney Pollack, Raj Gilbert, and Lady Di would have all celebrated birthdays today. Jamie Farr from MASH fame, still kicking. He's 92. Debbie Harry, Blondie, she's 81. Dan Aykroyd, 74. Canadian legend Steve Shutt, 72. Alan Rook is 70. You know him from a couple of movies in Ferris Bueller's there. That's Cameron from Ferris Bueller's. Nancy Lieberman, 68. Carl Lewis, 65. Pamela Anderson, 59, although her breasts are not nearly that old. Missy Elliott's 55. Liv Tyler, wow, 49. So is Jerome McGinley. And Nelson Cruz is 46. What did I miss, David?
How old would Princess Diana have been today?
I don't know because I don't put their date of birth next to those that are dead. Gotcha. It's my way to separate the two.
Okay.
That's on me. I mean, I could probably
no.
I could probably get it quickly, but that's my little, that way I don't, and every once in a while I screw up and give the date of someone's birthday who's not living. And that's my little way of separating.
She would have been 65 today.
There you go.
Time to see life a little bit differently. Here's Mark Miller with the good, the bad, and the ugly. What you got, Mark?
You know, it's been said before by people not named me. Those nurses are one horny bunch. And it's true in Ohio. In Dayton, as a matter of fact, at the Miami Valley Hospital. In the labor and delivery unit at the hospital, there are currently 17 nurses that are expecting. Congratulations to all of them. We go to Connecticut for the bad, where an early morning crash is going to make it rough for the 4th for some people who like to drink water. I mean beer water. Because the crash of a tractor trailer sent cases, hundreds of cases of beer all over the road. Don't worry too much. It was Mick Ultra. The driver, Phil Manzari, was issued a ticket for driving too fast for conditions. And finally, the ugly, we go to Naples, Florida, where on Sunday night at a candlelight Fleetwood Mac tribute concert, a couple of people got out of control. Shane Brandt and Nicole Lieberman apparently were asked to leave the theater. They refused to leave. They resisted arrest. They struggled with officers who tried to take them into custody. In fact, Shane decided to hit one of the officers. Never a good move. The show, however, must go on because apparently the tribute band never quit playing. Don't know what Fleetwood Mac song they were doing at the time, but both were arrested. That is the good, the bad, and the ugly on today, July the 1st, Canada Day. Brought to you by the Cape Coral Police Department, offering great pay, great jobs, overtime, and other jobs available. CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com.
Everybody's playing in Major League Baseball. There are 2 games on ESPN, if I've got this right. Canada Day, Mets and Blue Jays, 3 o'clock north of the border. And, combine those 2 teams are only about 20 games below 500. And 8 o'clock tonight, Reds and Brewers in Milwaukee. Get a chance to see the second best team in baseball. Cubs are this afternoon. Yankees, Tigers are this afternoon. Red Sox are this afternoon.
Both the Guardians and White Sox will be playing this afternoon. Obviously, you got the World Cup triple header, noon 4 and 8, noon and 8 on Fox, 4 on FS1, England, Congo at noon, U.S. and Bosnia at 8. 4 o'clock FS1 is Belgium, Senegal. The winner of that will play, in theory, the U.S. coming up next week in the round of 16.
Max Meyer on the bump today for the Marlins as they continue. Let's see if July, David, they had the best June of all time. If the Marlins can follow it up with a good month, how many wins? 18?
Ooh, that'd be very good. Because also remember the All-Star break, so they take a.
Okay. What if I gave you 15?
Well, if I look it up here, the Marlins have 25 games this month.
If I gave you 15, would you consider that a good, very good month coming off of what they just did in June? They go 15 and 10.
Oh, very good. That's 600 baseball. Yeah, that would be very good. I think, believe it or not, a winning month, but I'll take 14 and 11. I'll put the over-under at 13 and a half as to what's a good month. But I think 13 and 12 would be a good month. But give me 14 and 11.
I mean, they do have, as far as some winning teams, they play the Brewers, they play the Guardians, they play the Mariners. They've got the Astros, they've got the Phillies at the end of the month. So not an easy schedule, a bunch of teams about like they are. They will determine whether they're, I will tell you, with all of those teams, Padres, Phillies, Astros, Brewers, Guardians, Mariners, you find out if you're a pretender or a contender this month. I mean, I do think it's a make it happen month for the Miami Marlins, David.
Marlins' final 3 games before the trade deadline are against the Mets.
So paying attention to the Marlins, the Rays, they just keep on keeping on. They've got the Royals. They've been mashing here the last few days, mainly because Junior Caminero has been mashing. Home runs in 5 straight games. They've won all of them. He's up to, I think, 24 dingers now. So while the Yanks are reeling a little bit, can the Rays take advantage of it? Because
so far,
just not coming back until mid-August.
Well, they are so far. When the Yankees have lost 6 in a row, the Rays have won 5 in a row. Yankees did that to the Rays about a month ago. Turned the table on them in a week. Rays are returning the favor.
2-0 U.S. wins today. That's my prediction.
Oh, I like it. 3-1 U.S.
That would be a lot of goals against a defensive team. I think we'd be very excited to see that. England wins 1-0, by the way.
Ooh. Penalty kicks, England.
Oh, my goodness. They would be miserable if that happens, Miller and Moulton.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. capecops.com. Be brave, be best. Be Cape.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and
Go!
This summer, there's only one place to experience the roar of the World Cup at the British Open Pub in Bonita Springs, your World Cup headquarters, where the team is bringing every match live, full sound on every TV across the patio with daily food and drink specials from the opening match on June 11th through the final on July 19th. Catch the electric atmosphere for every England and USA match and all the matches in between at the British Open Pub, Bonita Springs, at the shops of Pelican Landing, where the World Cup comes alive. Meisters just doesn't sell Core-Tech and carpet. carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
If you're a business who targets men, please know there is no better and more economical way to reach your target audience than us at Miller & Moulton. So let us help you make money. You can reach out to Mark at @MarkMiller or me at @DavidMoulton on X, or text us at 21,000. We have a proven product, a good reputation, and lots of quality segments that we can attach your company's name to. Miller & Moulton, we're like that old pizza box. You've had the rest, now try the best. Miller & Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
This is Miller and Moulton